Okay, so today I'm going to make a surprise and unexpected return to Hearthstone. I haven't played it in several months, at least since probably around August when I was doing my PvZ Heroes finale series. Ever since I did that, and I was doing that on like a regular everyday basis, I kind of gave up my regular schedule where I had like a fixed day for every category. So like Monday would be Magic, Tuesday would be Chess, and so Sunday would be Hearthstone, and I would do it every week. And so I was doing my Gimmick deck series that was extremely fun. One of my favorite things I've ever done with Hearthstone, where I really went through and chronicled all my favorite gimmick decks in history, like something simple like Renounced Darkness, right? That's a fun gimmick card that just I like these sort of transformative mechanics, even if they're not good. I was sort of playing with that, so I picked one for like every single class, my favorite for each class, or a couple, right, to the best of my ability to recreate them. And most of them weren't really good even at the time when they were more current, but even especially now they wouldn't have been good. But no, I did that basically all of 2023. Maybe the end of 22. No, I think end of 22 I was still doing something else, but basically all of 2023 I spent doing that. And Hearthstone was like a gimmick deck series, go through every single class. Maybe I'll recap on that a bit, and I get to show off this other piece of art because I was using the other one. It's the same sort of theme of the art. I guess I don't have it to show. No, I'll show you. Hang on. But no, my point is that I'll use this one now to signify that it's like a different phase of our series, right? That was the gimmick deck series in one form where I'm trying to go back through my old ones. Now this could be where I try to make new ones, or I try to do something more meta. This will be like a different series, but today I'm just doing like a basic recap and just seeing what's different. And I am hoping that they have that Nerazil frozen armor skin that I've been begging for ever since Death Knights came out, where he's like in the armor and in the ice block, like how he originally is seen. As the master strategist sitting in the ice telling Arthas what to do, and before they merge. That's the one I've been craving ever since the beginning, and they even show that one to you in the campaign that you have to do to unlock the Death Knight, right? When you do that, he's talking to you and it shows that little ice block icon, so they're kind of teasing you, but oh no, they'd rather do Death Metal King and all this kind of dumb stuff. Like, really, bro? I'm not saying they can't have some of the zany ones, but like that's the most basic essential one possible, and they'll save it and wait for a super long time, I guess, before they do it. So that'll signify the change of my series though here with respect to let me try to switch it and I'll show you. So this one I really only use for WoW and very rarely ever for anything, but anything to do with Warcraft universe that wasn't Hearthstone. But whenever it was Hearthstone, I would use this one instead, which is, again, it's the same basic idea. It's inspired by that Kaiba art that would tell you, where he says to the little girl, you're a third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck, right? So I was always using this one through that whole gimmick series, and it just is like an AFK screen or obviously an intro screen when I started the stream. And so, yeah, it's like Kaiba yelling at the girl, you're a third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck, but in this case, it's a play on the line from Falric from Halls of Reflection, where he says, the children of Stratholme fought with more ferocity, chiding you like when he's killing one of the players or something. So yeah, I won't use that one anymore. I'll use this one again. So we're moving on. We're doing a different series with this. If I even play it on a regular basis, I'm not sure. My schedule has been sort of up in the air lately, where like, I still stream every day, but I don't have like a fixed category, but I should do this once in a while. I've been playing way too much chess. So we're going to go ahead, look and see what's different. I'm going to hope that there's the Nerazil frozen armor, even though I'm not necessarily going to play Death Knight right now. I just want that so badly. And then one of the few things I would actually spend money on for a microtransaction, even though I generally don't do that. And then, yeah, I'll maybe sort of recap the Gimmick deck series here. But let me get in the game first. Surely my game capture should still work with this because, whatever, it's still Hearthstone. I have like 100 game capture different ones. So I have to go through and actually look which one is Hearthstone now still. Right, I have no idea because there's so many. I'm just too lazy to like remove them, or I might go back and play the game, but like I play Skyrim once a year and then I show it up. Like, I never take it off, so I have to find where Skyrim was, even though I'm using it so infrequently. Entering the tavern. It never used to say that. It has been a while, so it's been at least August, September, October, like 5 months, maybe something like that. Bronze rank 1. This was the Gimmick Mage deck, so I'll recap once I'm in the thing. But no, we went through every single class. We played some of my favorite Gimmick decks of all time. It was very fun. You know, that's the kind of thing I love to do, and it was very fun to do in a laid-back way too. Like, welcome back, we've got some quest and rewards to get you back into the game, but I was never in the game to begin with, because it's not like I'm going to... Yeah, I don't even know what the current expansion or anything is right now. Like, I wasn't, you know, I don't play in the meta anyway. I was just playing once a week for like an hour and just chilling, you know, and doing fun gimmicks and stuff like that. Give a minion in your hand +3/+3 and spell burst. Next is Prince Jafar. So I'm looking for sort of transformative mechanics that might be from the newer cards, or, you know, any sort of like, I'm excited to see the new cards, not because I actually want to use them in the way that you might expect, like, oh, for meta purposes and stuff like that, but no, just if I can't wait to see if there's another Explore on Goro, or another, there was something like that relatively recently, or even like the Whiz Bang when they did the new Whiz Bang expansion, I forget, a couple expansions ago, they had that one. So that gives you all these different fun pre-made decks in the middle. You can just, you know, you go in like with the other Whizbang deck, but instead of a fixed deck, like a deck recipe, it's like just a made-up deck with some cards that don't even really exist or something. I don't remember exactly. Signature Fi, Rush, Lifesteal, Taunt, and of course everybody knows my favorite mechanic ever in the history of the game that would almost fit with this, being like a fairy dragon-esque looking thing, is the Elusive mechanic, evasive mechanic, whatever you want to call it, that finally got a keyword. Tyrion Fordring, he looks so clownish here though. Like, this guy looks badass, but this looks like so ordinary. I don't mind these 3D avatars, but I'm not really a big fan of them either. And of all the stupid ones that I could have gotten, I got that stupid Arthas one. Just for you. I really don't care about any of this. And why does it seem like it's kind of bugging out with that? Normally it will let you scroll down more. Or it's going to be that I somehow missed it because I don't really pay attention, but that would be heartbreaking if it came up. The Ner'zhul armor. I kind of doubt it, but I should keep checking on the wiki or something. So yeah, what did I even miss? I played during Perils in Paradise. Maybe right at the beginning of it. Yeah, Whizbang I was just talking about. So Whizbang, Perils in Paradise, and the Great Dark Beyond, which is sort of like the Twisting Nether-ish kind of thing, or I don't know. Where it's just things to do in space, I would assume. Go down in the Badlands, mini sets, okay. Yeah, I must have stopped playing right at the beginning of Perils in Paradise, or maybe the middle. And now it might be towards the end already of this. No, but it couldn't be because the mini set's not out. Wonders of the Kraken. These are like, that's like the year of the Kraken, I guess. I never really play any of these other modes either. Yeah, I enjoyed that Gimmick deck series, and it was very almost obligatory that I should do something like that. Now maybe I should try to get to Legend rank 1 for the first time ever, because again, I would always get to Legend, but I never would keep playing after that. I would get sort of bored of it. So in my whole history of playing this game, right, I've never actually done that or made a run for it, and I really should, but the Exodar looks so stupid. It's a fucking ship. It's not a city. If you're building a starship, launch it and choose a protocol. Uncraftable legendary. Like, this really sums up how stupid that whole Draenei expansion idea was. Like, they were supposed to be all evil. Like, there were no good Eridar. The demonic Eridar is what they were called in lore. But then, oh, they retcon it to, oh no, there were good Eridar and there were bad Eridar, and this is the good Eridar, and they appear out of nowhere, and they crash land their ship, and it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, this retcon BS right in your goddamn face. Or imagine if he was like a rank 100. Oh, it would give me a good incentive to get there, though, which I've never done that either. Right, a few things that I've never done in the history of playing the game. I've never gotten a Legend rank 1, or I would even say I've never tried to. Not that that's really a cop-out, that, oh, I could totally do it if I tried, but whatever. I've never put in the time to do that, right? I just get to Legend, and then I just stop playing, or I do other gimmick things. But I've also never gotten a rank 100 on here. No, we don't need Ner'zhul and the Frozen Armor. We need this. We need Arthas in space. Like, what the fuck is that, dude? Of course, that's the priority. We need that guy above anything else. But no, it's Scourgeborn Arthas. And, whoa. There's a couple more of these than I remember. I don't really like any of these, though. They look kind of silly. Like, Bone Mantle looks pretty cool. Jaina almost always looks cool in every incarnation. Gul'dan looks okay. This Jaina also looks good. Arthas doesn't look that special. Like, yeah, like look at some of their faces just look weird. Like Rexxar looks like a total clown. Yeah, let me try to consider what I want to do here. They'll give you like this big catch-up pack too. Sometimes that'll be like 100 cards or something crazy. But yeah, what was I using here? I was using a Mage Gimmick deck, and so I had gone through every single class. And what I find hilarious about that is, okay, I started off, right? Let me try to remember exactly when I started off. Like, maybe in the middle of... No, maybe the end of 2022 or the beginning of 23, right? So I started with the Gimmick deck series, and I went all the way through 2023 with it. And so the point is... well, into 2024, and then I stopped around August, so it must have been somewhere in the middle of 2023. So I started and I said, okay, the first phase of the Gimmick deck rotation is, let me do my underplayed class round robin. So I said, I'll play the 2 classes that I played the least in the history of the game, minus maybe the newer ones, you know, because Demon Hunter, whatever, but the ones that had been there from the beginning. So I said Rogue and Priest. So I did Priest, and I played as some weird, like, little Resurrect type deck that always triggered me when I saw it. Like, you only have 1 minion in there, and you keep trying to resurrect it over and over. The Colossal... you know, whatever it is, the fish, right? I played that one for a little bit, just as my underplayed classes segment, but then I forgot about Rogue, so I hate Rogue so much that not only was it underplayed, I actually skipped it. I just somehow forgot about it, right? It just vanished out of my mind, and then I skipped it, and I went to now the next phase, which was, let me play as like my favorite classes, or just generally every single class, and pick my favorite Gimmick deck. So I did Warlock for Renounced Darkness, and possibly something else, which I can't remember. But mainly we did Renounced Darkness with Warlock, where I had one of my favorite Gimmick type cards, very fun. And then as Warrior, I did like the Iron Juggernaut. I always loved that, with the Pander in, trying to flip it back and replay it over and over and get as many mines in there as you can. And there's obviously probably better ways to do that now. And they even added the Death Rattle on it too, so it's not just a battle cry. But yeah, we did the Iron Juggernaut, and we also did Explore Angoro / Zinazari, which those are very fun, transformative type of cards as well, right? So those are like my 2 favorite and most played classes, right? That's the second phase, and then we just kept going around with other classes. Like, I did the Hunter, which was mostly like just Rexxar and Karnas's Brood. And by Rexxar, I just mean like any deck with Rexxar in it, because it's just a fun mechanic, crafting the zombies. So there wasn't much of a Gimmick deck with that one that I really had. Karnas's Brood is kind of cool, I guess, but it wasn't a big deal. Mainly, I was just reveling in crafting zombies and that mechanic. And then there, I think I took a little break, and then I played as the old Whizbang and the new Whizbang, because I think or did I do that twice, maybe? No, I think this was before that Whizbang expansion was even there, right? This was a long time ago still, because it took me a long time to get through some of these decks. Like, I would do each one for like a month, each class for like a month. So what I actually did was, I probably just did a whole month of doing Whizbang, period, just for the fuck of it, not because the expansion was anywhere near coming out, right? So I just played as Whizbang as a little intermission, and then or maybe play as Whizbang until I lose a game. That might have actually been the criteria. And then what I did after that was, after Hunter, I believe I did Druid. Right, so what was the Gimmick deck? Is Druid like some sort of armor stacking one, and some sort of other anti-spell one too, which is similar to the Mage one that we just did. Like all the elusive, evasive minions in the history of the game, we try to combine together. Oh yeah, that's the distinction. And I do like AoE buffs, so it's elusive minions plus AoE buffs. And you might say, why is that relevant, or why was that a cool gimmick back in the day when I did it, even though it wasn't very good and it's not very good now? It's because you're buffing and rubbing in your opponent's face that, like, oh, you can't target my minions, but I can, because even though I can't target them, I'm still buffing them. So it's like, not only do you have to deal with this 12/12 Tyrantus, but now I'm even going to buff it or effectively heal it with all these AoE buff cards or whatever, everything I summon. Even though you can't target it, I can still keep healing it effectively or buffing it, but with all these kind of AoE buff cards, which Druids did have a good amount even back then. That's why the idea made sense. So my Druid anti-spell deck was elusive minions plus AoE buffs. My Mage anti-spell deck was just a lot of counterspell and splitting image and stuff like that to kind of expand and protect the elusive minions as well. And also there was something else. What else does a mage have to justify this? This is the one we were obviously just using. Lord Thamar obviously is just good, period, but it works pretty well for this too. And just like a lot of secrets, because again, you're going to keep recycling your elusive minions as much as possible. And you also have Lotheb as a must. There was something I was missing that I really wanted. Not even one of those, but yeah, we did. So we did the underplayed class part where we skipped rogue. So we did priest, warlock, warrior, then like hunter, druid. This was the anti-spell one, mainly is the one that I played, similar to what we're doing here. Again, just a lot of elusive, evasive minions. And then I always do that where I can't remember which one it's actually called, but whatever, you know what I mean. Oh yeah, I was even trying to use Embiggen and stuff, but that kind of doesn't work out as well because it makes them cost us too much more. Then from there, we did, I believe, Shaman next. And it was right around that time we got the Thirst Trap Nerzul, the one that I got baited in and I kind of got pissed by. Wow, they have 29 though, holy shit. And Death Metal King. Oh yeah, I was doing that little Death Knight series too, right when they came out. Let's see if they actually added it. Bolvar looks kind of okay, but he's a bit of a clown. Bolvar found out the hard way that you can't be too self-sacrificing. Yeah, we're supposed to respect him, but I just treat him like a total clown, like he's a fucking moron. He's not strong enough to control the undead or do anything, keep them in check. None of this stuff is Nerzul. I mean, come on, dude, they're practically teasing me at this point. Poxy, like, what is all this? Some of these characters don't even really exist. The Saurian Arthas looks kind of cool, actually.
Ready for the slaughter.
The Tavern Regular achievement. He left the light runes behind long ago. So yeah, we don't have anything with Nerzul there, but they caught up pretty well. 29. Which class had like the least that I always made fun of? Like, yeah, only 42. So a class that came out much more recently, right, has only 13 less arts than you do, heroes than you do. I love the Cthulhu Eyeball. This gave me a chance, all the gimmick decks, to show off some of these cosmetics too. Whether it be N'Zoth that I finally got for the Warlock, or whether it be, you know, the Cthulhu Eyeball here, or the Clown Face Arthas thing there, or even the or no, I wasn't even doing Death Knight though. Like the Thirst Trap Nerzul that we had done with the Shaman. So it gave me a chance to show off some of these cosmetics that came out sometimes conveniently right around the time that I was playing them. So we did Shaman, and that was sort of just an evolved Death Seer type thing where we have every evolved mechanic possible in the game. And, well, maybe not every single one, but we play around Evolve and just try to see a lot of the fun interactions of what random stuff we get. Again, random equals fun, even though I always criticize internal RNG in a card game that's already based in RNG because of just the act of drawing cards is inherently random. But my point is that... yeah, we would have evolve effects, see kind of the roulette and randomness of that. So that was a very fun, that's a very inherently fun mechanic, and maybe the most fun besides the Zombies of the Death Knight heroes originally, right, was Death Seer Thrall, even though I barely used it. I barely used either one, actually, but I had that one iconic game where I played against Frostlit Jaina, and I was so dejected and so sure I was going to lose, and it seemed so one-sided. And then I got that sick interaction for the first time that I'd ever seen it, where you get like the poisonous bat. This was obviously right around when that stuff had just come out. You get like the bat with the AoE when it dies or something, and it give it rush and give it poisonous. So when it died, the 2 damage it did to everything also was poisonous, and it killed all of their water elementals that they had like 5 on the board. And then I come back and I actually win it. That was one of the most unbelievable Yu-Gi-Oh, like absolute ridiculous like plot armor protagonist moments that I had there. We did Shaman, then we did Paladin, which was, I guess we just basically did the stupid 4 Horsemen one, and I tried to do the new 4 Horsemen with that too, but I didn't get it to play it even once successfully. The one that's neutral that anybody can play. But no, we basically just did the 4 Horsemen for that, and maybe some other, like Galvadon, or like some of the cards that have a weird mechanic, like where if you only have Paladin cards, it does something. Like the invitations and stuff, but mainly we were trying to build just around around the Four Horsemen. That was the only gimmick deck that I really had known or liked for Paladins, and then we get around to Mage. So the only ones we excluded were the 2 new classes, because I didn't, it doesn't feel like you're revisiting that with a gimmick, because I barely played them in the first place. I played Death Knight quite a bit when it first came out. I've never really played Demon Hunter much at all, and I didn't really care for them from what peripheral, I understand about them. But I did want to play Death Knight just to do the Headless Horseman guy, who's the hero. I've never played him. I think I even crafted him and stuff too, but I never got around to actually playing him. Yeah, we did Mage. I guess I'll play as Mage now since we just have it at the ready. But yeah, that was what we did. So we touched on every class. So every relevant class. So I successfully did the whole gimmick deck series. It was very fun, even though again most of them are not very good. The Rogue I skipped, so we would have to do Rogue, Demon Hunter, and Death Knight, but I'm certainly not going to ruin my return today by doing that, because I'm not even going to look at the new cards. It's like I returned to see what's different, but I don't really care what's different, or I only care what I could use in a gimmick deck, because, I don't really care about keeping up with what's current. It doesn't matter, because what I end up using is just something gimmicky and just stupid anyway. But yeah, I did. Let's recap once more. So I did just some Resurrect type of deck with Priest, which is less of a gimmick and just more of maybe a meta deck at the time a little bit, but it was just because this is an underplayed class, so I wasn't really revisiting it. Then I played 2 of my favorite classes with some of my favorite gimmicks, like Renounced Darkness, Explore Ungoros, and Azari, Iron Juggernaut. Then I go to here, and then I decide to basically do Karnas's Brood and emphasize just Rexar and the zombies. Then I take a break and I just play Whizbang just for fun. And then I do the Druid. I do like the armor deck. I do like the anti-spell AoE buff deck. Then with the Shaman, I do the Evolve deck, Deathseer Thrall, etc. And then somewhere here, the Whizbang expansion comes out. And so I use that as an excuse to do Whizbang again, where I think it was right around here, maybe after doing Shaman. So then I do both Whizbangs and compete against each other and see which Whizbang does better. Like who's going to win more games in the month or in each session and stuff like that. Play as each one until I lose. The old Whizbang that gives you like a deck recipe, and the new Whizbang that gives you like some made up deck, right, that doesn't really exist and that you couldn't use normally. And then we finally do Paladin, which is going to be the 4 Horsemen and just basically the 8 Horsemen. And also Galvadon and Paladin only, Lightforged Galvadon, and the 8 Horsemen. That I think I used that as a title for one of my YouTube videos. That's what my deck is. Like this Lightforged Galvadon and the 8 Horsemen deck is pretty lit. Am I right? Lit as in haha, because you're a Paladin of the Light. I don't think I actually used that as a title, but whatever. What a mouthful, right? It wouldn't fit in the character limit here. Lightforged Galvadon and the 8 Horsemen. And I never got to play the other 4 successfully. The Mage is obviously going to be the anti-spell gimmick deck, and then I was trying to do something with Yogg Saron almost, where I could do a roulette where I play as many spells as possible and stuff like that. So yeah, this is going to be okay. I'll try this one out, and then, but no, we can consider if I do a series now, it'll have to be my 3 most hated, least played classes of all time. Maybe I'll even reintegrate Priest, but I guess we already did it at the beginning. So I would make it up to Rogue, and then I would do Death Knight and Demon Hunter. I would do something with them. I could try to make a gimmick deck with them. I don't know really what it would constitute. As far as the hero card, I don't know if they added another one maybe here. The problem is when you type in hero, it doesn't just show you hero cards. It shows you, Headless Horseman. I definitely do want to use that, even though it doesn't seem that cool. Just for the novelty, if I've never played, it's the only one. I was asking for it. That Death Knight should definitely have a hero card, and so yeah, that's one thing you could do. Again, Demon Hunter, I don't have much interest in. The one gimmick deck I did as a Demon Hunter, which had nothing to do with being a Demon Hunter, was like I used every stealth minion in the game for some reason, right? That I could, every neutral stealth minion, and that was it. That was the gimmick. Like it wasn't anything good. It wasn't anything notable. It doesn't even fit with the class really. That would make more sense maybe with a rogue. In fact, that might be the rogue gimmick that we could do, even though it doesn't complement it too much, because I don't know how many cards really benefit you for being in stealth. Like, okay, they're in stealth, but so what? Like, it doesn't do anything. But yeah, we'd owe it to Rogue because we skipped that in the beginning, underplayed class round robin. And then these were the two that I was saving for the end because they're the newest classes and they almost don't count as far as like, you know, I'm not revisiting my favorite Gimmick deck because I've just never played them that much. This came out much too recently. Demon Hunter I never really played in the first place, so I was trying to exclude those because it doesn't really count as far as the core ones that have always been there. So I didn't really even look at what... Oh, you know, that would be a good idea. Double Rainbow. No, I prefer Double Sunday by Raditz. Fucking clown name for a move. Fearless Pirates. Ramp under the stars. Because I was just talking about, obviously, those three. I should do one of these. Which one seems like a cool deck? See, I'm probably not even going to use it, but... Does this mean you would just keep it forever, or... Like, I can only claim it for the next 6 days, or it'll only last me the next 6 days. Death Knight is taking a tour to Shaman. Over to Shaman in this mid-range deck. What does that mean? What? Oh, was this the mechanic from, like, the Perils in Paradise, where you can use, like, cards from another class? But within what criteria? Like, how would you know that just by looking at it? This isn't like one of those hybrid ones where it has like both one color on each side, so I don't even get it. Play different spell schools and dazzle your opponent with the Razzle Dazzler. The hell am I looking at? This one seems kind of dumb. Is this gonna... but I don't want to mess around with pirates, dude. Really, pirates? I love how low curve some of these decks are, though. This is a 1 to 4 curve. I'll just do this because I hate Demon Hunter so much. You will lose access. Oh, like... I will, though. That's fine. So we'll have a... So that means we'll keep it for good. But now we don't get to mess around with the other loner decks, which is perfectly fine with me. So yeah, we can mess around with those later. We'll do Death Knight, Demon Hunter, and Rogue. That's going to be my... I mean, I guess it's still part of the same series. No, it's not, though. It's the next series that we're doing, which is... We're moving on from my Gimmick deck series to now my most hated class, my least played class, you know, underplayed class round robin again, or you could call it like just my making a Gimmick deck for the first time with classes that I just never played or classes that I don't really like as much. All right, let's just play this one again, the same anti-spell Gimmick Mage, just to sort of bridge the gap. There's sort of a pseudo finale for this as well. But yeah, if I make a little mini series out of this, if I play it on a regular basis, those are the three classes to look for, and I don't know exactly what I would do with them, but I'll try to make a Gimmick deck with them. Lorthamar is obviously very exciting to have because we get, I mean, not that it isn't good just period in any deck all the time, but especially here because you get to these souped up values. For the Elusive, you'll get a 7 mana 14/14. 7 mana 14/14 with Elusive and Taunt. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? Even with all the power creep bullshit that you have, that can still be sometimes pretty hard to deal with. If you get off to the races and everything goes good. But no, these decks are not necessarily very good quality at all. I should just try to play a lot and get like a ridiculous amount of dust so I can just like craft every single card in the game for Rogue or something. Like, think about how long that would take though if you were trying to do that as a free-to-play player. Like, oh yeah, just farm out dust, they said. It'll be fun, they said. You'll be able to craft every card in the game, which if I didn't disenchant my collection so many times, I probably would have been able to do that over the years. Like, I craft, you know, on a whim, I'll do something like, I'll say today I feel like using this deck, so then I'll disenchant like half of my whole collection and shrink it by 75% and then craft something else, and then the next month I'll say, oh, I feel like doing something else, so then I'll disenchant a whole bunch of stuff and maybe it's the same thing I was using before, so then you just keep doing that over and over, so you're shrinking your collection by 75% multiple times over. So if you never did any of that, you'd probably have every single card in the game, maybe even every gold card. Not quite that much, but like, it would just be so stupid the amount that I do that. But you just on a whim have an impulse. Oh, I feel like using this today, so fuck it, I'll just make it. So the point is that you're trying to get Lorthamar out, and we always get hard stuck at bronze chicken ranks 10, but not really, because it's a case where at a random 100 spell to your head, you know, even if you lose a majority of games, you can still make progress when you're not losing ranks, but usually getting hard stuck around silver maybe, because either I wouldn't play that much really, even if I am winning games, or even if you're winning, you'll win one, lose one, and kind of get hard stuck forever. Now we get the corpse counter because of that. Yeah, there was no Nerzul hero. That's the main thing I was worried about. I literally played just for that reason alone, but I don't like using wikis and stuff too much. You know, I feel like, oh, if I want to find out, I should have to play the game for myself, but it's a situation where, wait, what? Okay, I forgot. I don't know why I thought it was like honorable kill. You got that. That was my whole expectation, is that I would get it. Otherwise, why would I even bother playing it? Yeah, I don't always cast spells, but when I do, it's to counter them. That was kind of my expression with this deck. Malago said, mortals cannot handle magic. I will take great pleasure in denying it to them. With both this deck and the Druid deck. Which we're not really seeing a ton of that yet, but I mean, if we can play Lorthamar, I'm a happy guy. And once you get off to the races like that, it can really catch them off guard. No matter how good their deck is, right? How much power creep, nonsense, BS, you can still deal with it where you get to... Okay, get it out of the way now, because I don't want you doing that once I have my souped up Lorthamar stuff, or I don't want you to counter Lorthamar from doing the effect. Yeah, this was just out of the blue. We could look through some of the new cards maybe in another session. I just kind of had an urge to play this randomly, so... Yeah, it's weird that I did that with my schedule, because I was playing everything on a pretty fixed regular rotation, and then all of a sudden I decided to... because of PvZ Heroes, you know, grand finale where I have to get to rank 50 or delete my account, which of course I failed and then had to delete my account. But because I was doing it every day, I gave up doing anything else, and I still failed. I should have done that from the beginning, though. Like the first couple weeks, I was expecting that I'd be able to, you know, get to rank 50 even while doing my other series, which is utterly insane to have thought about. Like, the amount of time I had to play it was crazy. Even for a casual mobile card game. Yeah, now if we just draw into a couple of elusive minions, I'll be very happy. And so what you have is the ability to consider that... I mean, I guess I didn't miss an expansion, because I literally played during Perils in Paradise. Like, let me look at the timeline of this a little bit. Okay, so Perils in Paradise... It released in July 2024, so maybe I stopped playing around August, right when I started committing to doing the PvZ series. And so September, October, November, December, January, right? So we missed the end of that. We missed the middle and end of Perils in Paradise, and then we missed the beginning of the dark, what is it, the Great Dark Beyond that we just saw? I already forgot. We could still do that. Well, let's just do all this. What is it again? Hearthstone doesn't fix his biggest, what is it called? Great Dark Beyond, October 29th. So it should be almost over then, right? July, August, September, October. So October, November, December. Yeah, literally. November. Oh, maybe it's a little later. So November, December, January. Okay, maybe February. Why does it say that October though? October 29th. So November, December, January. So it probably would be February. So yeah, we're towards the end of it, I guess. I'm just ignoring this guy and literally looking up the wiki as I'm doing this. Elusive, after you cast a spell, cast one that costs one more. So you could play 2 of these. And see, that'll still cycle my... Okay, dude. Okay. This is what I mean, dude. It could be a bad spell that you end up playing, though. Okay, can't attack yet. I don't really even care too much about that. For all you know, I could have Ice Block, so you won't even bother going face. But look at what an insane catch that was. In a way, I should almost have that card in my deck, Echo of Medivh, because it's so good to... Anything that sort of cycles your stuff. You know, there's already going to be Elusive. But in this case, it's for Lorthamar. Now we could do it again. So imagine if we do this where... Like, we have Duplicate for that reason. That if they kill it, we get 2 more of them. Yeah, we would look through and see like if there's any fun gimmick decks in, or I mean gimmick cards in. I should just make like a master list of every gimmick card in the history of the game in a raw sense, like those types of cards that I always talk about, ones that change your deck fully or completely or in a major way. Even like what's that chick's name? Elise Trailblazer, right? She adds like a whole Ungoro pack to your deck, like just a unique mechanic like that. But again, Explore Ungoros in Azari, Renounced Darkness. Those are like the big 3 that really change your deck a lot. Spellbender. I love what I love about that is it triggers the Trog because it'll still count as the spell casting. Right, so they'll cast it on something, maybe even the Trog itself, and then they'll fuck up. I mean, this is just too tempting to do. When your turn starts, I'm going to copy your highest cost minion. Summon 1 4 4, or I mean 4 1/1s. I can't read. Okay, so this should cast 2 spells though, which again could kind of screw you up in the sense that it doesn't have to, yeah, see, I don't even know what the hell is going on. How do we end up casting that same thing again? What? What did you just even do? I guess we could do this. Like, I don't even know if it's worth it or not. 5/10. I'm gonna end up just being so low on health that I won't be able to do anything. But imagine some of the values that we might get here, including a taunt, right? That could be a 28/28 for 7 mana. With taunt and elusive, like it really stretches the value when you have that. So we got double Lorthamar. The problem is you might not get really the best minions that you need right now in full top deck mode. I guess even if you don't, whatever you get is going to be good. Even that 4 mana thing is going to be like an 8/20. Right, the 4 mana 2/5 whose name I always forget. That's one of like the oldest elusive cards in the game. That is such an amazing line though. I love that. I will crush your delusions of grandeur. Me whenever I play somebody in chess, am I right? Yeah, the next Hearthstone episode, because I don't want to ruin this one, we can look through this expansion and some gimmick cards in general, see if there's any fun gimmick ideas from that. Anything new that's transformative of your deck, and then we can look through those 3 classes and consider Rogue, Demon Hunter, Death Knight, and we could either rotate between them or we could just commit to one at a time, and we could do a grand finale as well for that, or just say it as a straight up new series that we're trying to again do my most hated class round robin, my least played and most hated classes. I could do this again for this spell, but I cannot do that. See, now beggars can't be choosers because you have whatever I get now would be really good, but there's no guarantee I'm gonna get it, so I could be screwed. Right? You have to hit them hard and fast here, where I just get something they can't deal with, and then you finally... How convenient. Again, you would need an AoE to do that, but it makes it very difficult even for good decks because you're not always going to have that. How would you deal with a 28/28 elusive minion? And the answer is you would need like some sort of twisting nether type equivalent to deal with it. Oh yeah, we have the Sargeras card back, which is pretty cute. They held off on Sargeras for a long ass time, but I got him for Warlock as well. When I was doing that. Yeah, the cosmetics really fit pretty well if you think about it. I had finally gotten N'Zoth from the shop because they brought it back. I don't know why. Right, I always craved him ever since he was released with like this $80 Sunken Voyage pre-order, right, Voyage to the Sunken Temple. So I didn't get that one, but then I always regretted it because I love N'Zoth and everything like that. And so the point is that you're in a position where, see, now this could be very good because of the healing alone, but I'm gonna copy of your highest cost minion. So yeah, we played Priest, didn't really have much significance, but we played Warlock and we got to show off N'Zoth that we had just gotten, and maybe Sargeras, although I don't think I really played a Sargeras. And then both the minion and the hero I don't think I really used. Then the warrior, I showed off like one of my was it like the 1,000 reward or the 500 gold Garrosh, one of those two. And then as a hunter, I showed off like the Sylvanas 3D model. And then as druid, I showed off Cthulhu's eyeball. Was pretty good. And again, some of the stuff came out right around when I was doing it too, so I didn't even know that. Then as shaman, I showed off the thirst trap Nerzul, right, this fucking clown one that triggered me because I was expecting, don't do that shit, man. I was expecting if you give me a Nerzul skin, like, oh, hooray, they finally got a Nerzul skin. Oh, but it's literally a guy, a fucking thirst trap clown, rather than an actual good idea. Like him in the frozen, oh, I didn't have to do that. Rather than him in the frozen armor. So we do the thirst trap Nerzul, and then we do the fucking, the official nickname that I gave it. And then from there you do the paladin, which was, I don't think I really had a very interesting skin for the paladin. And then avatar for the paladin. And then mage, I guess we're just using Khadgar, so not really the most exciting thing ever, but maybe Kel'Thuzad or something would have been fun. So my values are still capable of being pretty jacked out, but am I missing something? Why are some of these not juiced out the way they should be? This one was like returned to the hand, I guess, but, or it was created in some other way, I mean. So I'm definitely gonna lose because you need one of these things to stick. Like the Stone Drake, if it had actually stuck around for a bit, it would have healed me like crazy and it would have just been super hard for them to deal with. But they seem to be dealing with everything just fine, which is pretty unlikely that they would always have an answer for it. But counter spell is pretty easy to counter itself, but you know, it's one of the best things you're gonna get as far as this anti-spell vibe that you're trying to go for. But no, that was like a year-long epic series where I, again, went through pretty much every single class, every relevant class at least that I care about, and you know, every original class aside from the shitty rogue that I hate so much apparently. I just hate how contrived some of their mechanics are, like insular sort of things like combos and very specific mechanics that sort of narrow the scope of what you can do. In a way, you would think I should like them more, though, because as much as I like Renounced Darkness, for example, it's a situation where I could almost still kill you, too. That's the thing. Renounced Darkness makes you like a random other class. So the same thing with a rogue. They're always trying to role play as other classes. And the reason why is because, you know, they'll keep getting cards from a different class or from your opponent's class. He has 3 HP left. I can't believe that that's actually a consideration. Like, you gotta be kidding me. There's nothing I can do. I mean, what could I possibly do to that? Divine Shield Reborn 10/10. Come on. And it'll get Divine Shield again, right, when it comes back. Only fitting there. Our first game back is a loss, and as usual in tradition, I don't know what the difference with this one even is, but I'm always like half asleep when playing Hearthstone. That was always the tradition, at least in the past, on those Sunday episodes. Because Sunday I would always start late, or I would be busy that day, so I'd be tired. So yeah, let's just play a couple of these, and maybe even just until I loses both of these. Yeah, we got like a little Death Knight loner deck that doesn't even seem interesting to me at all.
Khadgar versus the Lich King.
Yeah, this is the last Gimmick deck that I was doing. So it wasn't like I didn't make like a big finale spectacle out of it, because I wasn't expecting that PvZ Heroes, I keep trying to say PvZ hard mode, I was doing that before too, but I wasn't expecting that to sort of hijack my whole schedule. But effectively we had conveniently gotten through pretty much every single class, and I had played this one for a little bit, but not like the full time. So let's embrace it, and then I'll try to farm out maybe Dust to be able to do some of the other classes that we have here. Yeah, like Demon Hunter, how much have I played since it came out? Pretty much never. How much have I played Rogue in the history of the game? Not very much. And so, in fact, less than anybody else aside from Demon Hunter, I suppose, but that's not really fair when you consider, obviously, it came out more recently. And so the only other class that we're missing is Death Knight, which I actually played a decent amount when it came out at the end of 2022, but I don't think like it would be more than the Demon Hunter at least. It might be more than Rogue actually, but probably not, because I probably played Rogue a certain amount in Arena over time. So yeah, we got Lorthamar and everything last time, and it let me down because, you know, you get double Lorthamar, but you still lose. Like, how is that possible? And you start with it in your hand, and you get to play it on curve. Like, you get everything that you could possibly hope for, but it still is not enough, because they can just deal with so many of these immune targets that I don't get. Like, you have a 7 mana 28/28 with Elusive, and they just deal with it just like that. Deal 3 damage, randomly split. After minion dies, reopen. Open it all the way. It should be open at like one of the ticks of it. You don't really have a luxury of too many options here, because you're trying to just, again, cram it with every elusive minion that you can get. That would be one thing I'd really look for, which I was expecting a lot of those with the release of the Death Knight class, that there'd be more of an emphasis on elusive because of their anti-magic shield and stuff, but anti-magic shell. But for some reason it just didn't happen, where they didn't have very many, or they didn't really care about it. It just seemed like an archetype that would fit pretty well with them. So my favorite expansion ever is still Galakron, even though it's really not, and I don't think I was even playing right when it came out. But it's a situation where that, with the release of Galakron's Awakening, I'm pretty sure that the majority of the elusive minions in the history of the game were all released in that one, like the Draconid and the Worm, and, like, you know, so even that little 2/1 poisonous thing, right? All those the Chimera, evasive Chimera, I think. A lot of those ones came out in Galakron's expansion, and so by that logic, it should be my favorite one, even if I don't like Galakron himself too much or whatever. So we got absolutely clowned there, and I'm fine with it. But yeah, this could be the beginning of a new beautiful mini-series for this, for which we'll use the other piece of art that I was talking about, and for which I will also be able to almost level 60 on there too. Use the other art to signify it. I'm trying to come up with a name for it properly, just like how we ended the Gimmick deck series, but I can't come up with it. Like, just my hated Klaus round robin. Right, they're trying to create gimmicks, galvanizing gimmicks, where I'm trying to come up with an idea from scratch for a gimmick deck rather than trying to just rehash an old one that I like so much. Yeah, let's look at the twist mode too. Give a minion +3/+3 in your hand +3 and spell burst. Replace your deck. Oh yeah, see, anytime I hear that phrase, replace your deck with an endless portal of demons. Each turn that. Oh, okay, this is what I'm talking about, and you could use this with anybody too. Oh shit. With complete control of the Burning Legion, or do we get Archimon too then? With complete control of the Burning Legion's forces, kil'jaeden will stop at nothing until all of the traitorous Draenei have been squelched. Right, quick enemy hero, a good one. And he says that line in the Sunwell, I will succeed where Sargeras could not, like, to show that he's not even really on Sargeras' side anymore, or he doesn't know what happened with him. Like, he's not doing it for his benefit at that point. Yeah, what's kil'jaeden's favorite game? Elder Scrolls game. Oblivion, because he says that line in the Sunwell. His voice acting is very good there, actually. Some of the old school, WoW voice acting is so amazing. Or just some of the lines of dialogue and everything give it so much personality. So, you're trying to tell me there's no Archimon? We got kil'jaeden and Sargeras, but no Archimon. Oh, we do get Archimon. Oh, wow. You're kind of overdoing it a little, even though I like it. He looks kind of dumb in this picture, though. Summon every demon you played this game that didn't start in your deck. That's the best you can come up with, 7 mana, 7/7, that effect? That's kind of boring for a character of that significance. Summon every demon you played this game that didn't start in your deck. Okay, that's kind of lame. I like my idea better, where there'd be like a 50 minion death count, and it would auto kill your hero when 50 minions die. Like, if you play him, his battle cry would be, if 50 of your minions or 50 total minions have died this game, destroy the enemy hero. Like, it might not work with the pace of the game now, but this was a long time ago that I said that. But the point was, it was basically a situation where 50 minions have to die, right? And then you play them, and it's a one-shot kill effect. And there was something else to it, but I can't remember. Yeah, it was meant to be a much more significant effect than this anyway. Archimon joined Sargeras in search of power, and in doing so became one of the strongest forces within the Burning Legion, who laid waste to countless planets, but in the end he still lost to a wisp. Not a wisp, dude, a lot of wisps. And then apparently he came back in like Legion or whatever the fuck they did with him. You know, retcon BS, it just can't be stopped. But you look at he was like the military arm, whereas kil'jaeden was more like the strategic arm, or some sort of he was the deceiver versus the defiler. They don't even give him his proper title here, though. It shouldn't just be kil'jaeden, it should be kil'jaeden the deceiver. How would we know who he is otherwise without his iconic title? No, this is pretty fun, and you could even use them together, right? You would play kil'jaeden and then have Archimon in your hand. And then once it's an excellent combo. Once you burn out of those demons, you play Archimon, and he'll resummon some of the ones that you didn't start with. So that in itself is very, very cool. So wow, I mean, we already have such a cool gimmick idea going, but we should do that for a demon hunter, obviously. Or the ultimate insult. Do it as a Death Knight, even though that makes no sense because... You know, in a way, warlocks could have a monopoly on so many of these cards, because technically, kil'jaeden's a warlock, and so is Sargeras, and so is Archimon. Basically, every demon ever is a warlock, is how they sometimes portray it in the lore, because I was even saying that when I saw that, Sargeras is a warlock hero, right? The avatar. Like, yes, it kind of makes sense, but he's also a lot of things. He has a big sword that he slices through planets with. Remember the part where a warlock does that? Remember where a warlock uses a sword in general? Like, it's just kind of arbitrary. He's just a very powerful lore character, right? Who happens to use dark magic, but that doesn't mean you're a warlock necessarily. So if I was to be a demon hunter, you have the ability to consider... What is all this shit? 5 mana to launch. Deal damage equal to starships attack randomly spun among all enemies. That one doesn't seem really all that exciting. Not saying it isn't a good value card, but no, I would almost want Archimon too on top of this. That's a good idea to try to make a gimmick deck with this. What the hell is this, dude? The Ceaseless Expanse costs 1 less for each time a card was drawn, played, or destroyed. Battlecry, destroy all other minions. 1 less for each time a card was drawn, played, or destroyed. Okay. Summon 2 4/4 Splitting Boulders. Splitting Space Rock. Or what you should do when a new expansion comes out is you should always, not that it just came out, but this is my first experience with it, is, oh, you should do an arena, which would always be a tradition of mine, but I haven't really enjoyed doing arenas anytime lately. And like do that rule that's sort of a unspoken honor code that if you get offered a new card, you have to take the new card just because, even if you don't want to, even if it's not good, it's not the best of the pick, right? You just do it just for the sake of trying it out. So that's almost something I could do too. So yeah, whatever. I just wanted to touch base with this. I don't really feel like doing a whole lot today, but yeah, we can mess around with the Mage gimmick deck a little more, but there are some other fun gimmicks already here. I kind of want to craft, I might do arena for a little bit. Like if we do a little mini arena series, assuming I enjoy it, we farm out a bunch of dust, I can craft Archimon, and then I could make a gimmick Demon Hunter deck and go from there. And then I'll save Rogue for absolute last. So I'd rather play my favorite classes or the normal classes before Rogue, but then I would rather also play the newer classes before Rogue that I don't even like that much, Demon Hunter and Death Knight, and then I'll finally play Rogue. Let's see what we can do here. I was gonna say there's no way that should still be alive, but in some way it should allow you to do that. You might say, oh, but then it would be broken, but it should be worse than what we have now because whatever, I have plenty of gold. And I even have free tavern tickets. I'll do Cthulhu just because I like the eye. Maybe we should just do the draft here. So Draenei is obviously a keyword here, so we would have to take this one just for the sake of it. Exarch Othar. Battlecry, if you're building a starship, get 3. See, now it's unlikely that's going to come into play, though. Get 3 different arcane spells and reduce their cost by 2. If you've cast 5 or more spells this game, I'm trying to look for the icons, actually, because I can't tell exactly whether these are new or not. I honestly can hardly see. Like, what is the icon here? Okay, it's like a planet with a ring. I don't think any of these are new. If you're holding a spell that costs 5 or more, restore 5 health, 4 mana, 4/5. If you cast 5 or more spells this game, deal 2 damage. There's no guarantee that you would have done that, but I don't mind this. The Chillwind Yeti stat line. You would think I'd do the elusive there, but it's not really relevant. You know, it won't matter. Draw a card if you're holding a dragon, gain an empty mana crystal. Rush, Forge, gain a +3/+2. Battlecry and Death Rattle, that's okay. This is summon 1/5/5 ancient. Play cards that cost 5 or more while equipped to improve. Let's just do that for the fun of it. I guess I'm not saying these are necessarily the best. These icons are very hard to see on ones like this. Right, where I can't tell. Give +1/+1 to each minion of different type in your hand. Set your maximum mana and hand size to 11. Which isn't going to be relevant in an arena at all because you're never going to have 11 cards in your hand anyway. +1/+1. Okay. Discover a... Okay, so I have to take this one for the newness of it alone. Final Frontier. Discover a 10 cost minion from the past that is cost to 1. What the fuck? I mean, it is expensive, though. We'd have to take that, or maybe... No, this one's been out. Give your minions +2/+2. Okay, Battlecry and Death Rattle. Give all Draenei in your hand +1/+1. Crimson Commander. Okay, that one's fine. Some of these icons are genuinely so hard to see. Like, I wish you could get a better feedback on it. Hiking Trail. Discover top minion after you get armor. Reopen this. It's very unlikely that this is going to ever come into play. Well, let's just do it anyway because I like it. Okay, this we at least get to choose. Get a copy of the last Draenei you played. Double this minion's attack. 5 mana, 8/7. Almost as good as a 4 mana 7/7, but it takes too much work. I mean, he looks pretty sick, although the Draenei copy one could have been good. Draw a card if its spell costs 1 less. Not really very worthwhile. Shuffle 3 asteroids into your deck that deal 2 damage to a random enemy when drawn. Okay. Doomkin. I'm really having trouble actually seeing these icons as clearly as you should be able to. It should say it just in a tooltip too, what it's from, if you want to find that. Spend 10 mana on minions. Summon a minion from your deck. That's not a bad thing. Draw a beast, discover one. Summon 2 random 2-cost minions, refresh 2 mana crystals. Okay, that's the new card. After an adjacent minion attacks, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. Get a random holy spell. Okay, fine. Evasive Feywing. Okay, none of this matters. Take one of your opponent's empty mana crystals. Really not a very good card. I mean, it's just on a regular average basis, it's just not going to matter. This can be really difficult actually for people to deal with at times. So there is nothing new here. Taunt, 8 mana, 8/8. We kind of need some higher cost cards. Rush Taunt costs 1 less if you have at least 10 mana crystals. Doesn't really matter a whole lot. I kind of like this guy though for some reason. Okay, that's the same thing we just had. Draw a card, Solver, summon another one. I mean, you could do this in some weird chain way that could be fun, right? You'll do it, and then if you cast another spell, you can do it again and do it endlessly. Summon 2 1/1 saplings. Taunt. Draw another taunt minion, reduces the cost by 2. If you cast at least 3 spells while holding this, discover one of them. Okay, Tambourine is fine. This has all minion types. Shuffle this into your deck. He keeps any enchantments. Okay, fine. Adaptive Amalgam. Dormant for 2 turns while dormant. Summon a 3/5 dragon with taunt at the end of your turn. Fine. Has +2 attack for each dragon in your hand. Oh, I almost want to make a thing out of this, but having 2 of them doesn't really synergize or anything. Get 3 random temporary Draenei. Of course, we have to get that one. Your next weapon costs 1 less. I can't even see. I can't see what icon that even is if there's nothing even there. Whatever. After you cast an arcane spell, recast it. Okay, there's a bit of an arcane magic emphasis here. This is draw a card if its spell costs 1 less. I don't see why that one's really so good. Summon 2 random 2-cost minion, refresh 2 mana crystal. None of this is really relevant. Choose one. Draw a beast or discover one. Discover can always be pretty good. And then you have the ability to choose 3 cards from your deck to put on the top in that order. That's pretty good. Over Planner. Double minions attack. Give all your Draenei +1/+1. I kind of like this guy though. Elusive, your first spell each turn costs 1 less. Okay, fine. And then, yeah, this is like a StarCraft crossover because a lot of this stuff would be suited for that universe, but that's one thing I've never played either. Like how I did a foray into the Diablo series in 2016 to do my first playthrough Permanent series because I'm a Blizzard fan, but I never liked Diablo-style games. And so I made an excuse or used that as a reason to do that, to try it for the first time. So I could do the same thing with StarCraft. Like I'll make an excuse just to play it, just to try out because I'm not much of an RTS game player. And also, even though I'm a Blizzard fan, I've never gotten around to playing StarCraft. Whenever pirate, no, refresh your hero power. Your next one costs 0. Give your hero +2 attack, gain 4 armor. I don't know. Use 1, refresh your hero power. Okay, fine. Cost health instead of mana. Who cares? Like, why is that good? Get a random card from your starting hand. Okay. You gotta take that one. Get a random minion of the spell's cost. Set its cost to 0. Okay, so we can look at that. Again, maybe farming out Dust, maybe trying out kil'jaeden, maybe trying out a Demon Hunter. Okay, see you later. Okay, so today I'm going to do my finale for the anti-spell Mage Gimmick deck, and
Stories tonight.
that text at the bottom is kind of new to some recent update that I haven't played since then. So I just came back to Hearthstone yesterday. After a few months, I stopped playing, like maybe around August of last year, 2024, obviously. So now I finally started playing again. So I played at maybe the beginning of Perils in Paradise, right? It would have been right when that started. And I did use some card from that I actually liked. It was when I was playing like the Paladin Gimmick deck, I guess, where I was able to use it with the 4 Horsemen, like get your highest cost card or lowest cost card, whatever that guy was. So it did actually work pretty well with that. And so here I'm going to do a finale for the anti-spell Mage that I was doing. And then we're going to do an arena. I already did the draft for it, so that'll be my first arena in like a year, because even when I was playing, I don't think I had done an arena in a while. We already did the draft, so I'll be encouraged to do that for a while. I might do like a little mini series on arenas or other game modes, and then I'll work my way towards doing Demon Hunter, Death Knight, and a Rogue as my 3 final classes that are like my least played classes. Galvanizing Gimmicks will be the name of the series, I guess, where like I'm trying to create gimmick decks instead of just playing some of my old favorite ones, and maybe even like grudging gimmicks or like something like that. I was thinking about naming it because it's just, I hate those 2 classes. At least I don't like Demon Hunters, I don't like Rogues. Death Knights I don't really even necessarily mind, although the rune mechanic is a gimmick in a bad way. But yeah, we'll play as the Mage ones. And what else did I want to say? Like basically I can try out some of the other game modes. Where are some of the other game modes even? Is that, I thought there were so many more. Battlegrounds, Tavern Brawl. That's it. Did they like get rid of some or what? I swear there were so many more than that at various points. I thought, like, whatever. But yeah, we could mess around with some of those. We could, oh yeah, kil'jaeden was the one card that was really cool that we got to see from this expansion. I'm not really I mean, I didn't do anything, I didn't get it, I just, or you just start with it, but like you're able to this would be very fun. And it's a neutral card, so I could use this like with the Demon Hunter, and that'd be cool. I think I mistakenly said that, oh, I was going to use Archimond, but I think Archimond is actually a Warlock card, I think. Yeah, see, that's the problem. So I could make a Warlock deck with both of those because they seem to synergize pretty well. You'll summon a whole bunch of demons from kil'jaeden, right? You'll get a whole bunch and summon a whole bunch, and then you'll get to replay them once they're gone, and combine this with Gul'dan too on top of that, where he summons everything, every demon you summon this game basically, right? There's a lot of cool things with that. Black Hole, destroy all minions except demons. Wow, dude, this is such an organic kind of card actually with Twisting Nether. This is actually a pretty cool expansion idea. Like, they're really pulling out the big guns instead of some dumb shit like, oh, Perils in Paradise. Like, what is that really about? It's so stupid. I don't like these gimmicks. You know, the game's been out for so long. Like, I get it, but XL Wonders, let's look at this. It's always nice when I can use the gimmick deck in the twist mode. I had some fortuitous things happen during the whole gimmick series where like I'd be using a deck and it would work either in the twist mode or the cosmetic I would use. I get to show off a cosmetic like the Cthulhu eyeball is on the shop with the 3D model, and that's right around when I'm playing Druid anyway for the Druid gimmick deck, or like I'm playing you know, Sylvanas, the 3D Sylvanas with the, you know, for Hunter, or I'm playing N'Zoth for Warlock, or I'm playing Golden Garrosh for the Warrior, something like that. I'm doing, what other ones did I have? This time, build a deck with between 30 to 40 legacy through mean streets of Gadgets plus Caverns of Time. I don't really like the Caverns of Time mechanic too much, but all players start with health equal to the size of their deck. I mean, I almost would like to try it, but I don't know. Let me see what I could make in that context, or what if I want to make like a twist deck specifically? Would I be able to do that? Like, how do you account for that? Like, you go in the mode, I forget how this works. Like, I want to make a deck within this rule set without having to No, like what if I go to like make a deck from this directly? I sure there's like an option to do that, but what else does it show you here? Attack, health, your mana, attacker, defender. In many ways, I would say that's the one triumph of this game over Magic, despite Magic being so good too, is that the whole auto mana generation versus lands. I know lands have a lot of nuance to them, but there's also a certain value to this where it's just more straightforward. And then you could always have cards like that for nuance too, but that aren't relied upon for your basic ability to simply play the game, right? It streamlines that to such a degree. So, Legacy through mean streets of Gadgetzan. Yeah, the Caverns of Time is weird because it sort of exists in its own world, right? It's not really... Where does it even appear here? Like... I don't get it, yeah. Titans Festival Core Badlands event. How would you even identify that? Yeah, like caverns. I don't even get it because some of these cards were... I don't understand. Oh, I mean, would this show you just all the twist cards anyway? But... Okay, let me try to see if I can make one. I'll try to do a Mage deck too, and I'll try to even do Elusive, but I feel like it won't work. So these cards would all be usable within Twist. So let's just do that, do that, do that. I don't really want to use a lot of this stuff, but this is meant to be anti-spell for what it's worth. That can be pretty good. You're going to be forced to use stuff that you don't really want to use, though. And the reason why is because there's not going to be very many things to choose from. Yeah, you get... Oh, I guess that's not so bad. What else could I possibly put in here, though, that we were using in the other deck? Let me actually look. I wanted to do, like, the Yogg spell roulette type. Oh, I guess I could do that with the Rogue, though, too. I'm going to try... What I'll do is I'll finish this today. Then I'll do a whole bunch of arenas and other stuff and try to save up some dust. And then try to really make some interesting gimmick decks with Rogue, Demon Hunter, Death Knight, like I was saying. Where I can really do that. But I always say I'm going to do that, and then I just don't play enough to get enough dust to be able to do it. But... a lot of these cards are, of course, not going to be usable. Like Elusive is out the window. Nerubian Unraveler, so Loatheb, Nerubian, Trog, and Lorthamar. I don't think any of those would be usable. Loatheb, Nerubian, and Thrall. Loatheb, I feel like he should be usable. Nerubians make a lot of sense with this. Trog. I think I just said Thrall, not Trog, but not that kind of Nerubian. Reduces colors cost by 1. Any of the Trogs, Trogzor. Damn, see, this is what I mean by the dust. How can you do anti-spell without that? That's the coolest card that I loved using so much with that. Where you would even get it like with Spellbender in terms of being able to... I'll even do that one. So you only have to have around 30 here. So, like you would do Spellbender, so that cucks them twice over. Their spell is absorbed, right? Not like Counterspell, because then that wouldn't trigger the Trogzor. But if you have Trogzor out there, then you have the Spellbender absorb the spell that would have been used on him or whoever else. And then you not only absorb their spell, but you also get the Trog effect from it too, so you get to punish them all the more, right? Which is just absolutely beautiful. Let me just look through here briefly. I just always had a chance to have such a good Hearthstone collection, but I always fuck it up because I'm a clown. Where I just let's just throw in some big gun legendaries here, even though a lot of this stuff is just crap. Big Game Hunter, I guess I can't argue with that. Defender of Argus. This is actually not very interesting, but I'll indulge it and play like one game here at least. Or I'll play a Twist until I lose, and then I'll play something else. Right, we'll do it like that. If I lose a game, then I have to move on to the next one, which is gonna be, so I have like 3 decks total to play as, and if I lose all 3, then I just stop playing. Yeah, let's try this out. And I do like the twist mode, but it sometimes ends too quickly for me to even get a chance to play it or appreciate it too much. And I don't like how they try to sell sets of cards and packs and stuff for it. Like $4.99, $24.99 for a twist bundle that you can only, you know, really get value out of this month, even though I'm the type of person who would use that kind of stuff anyway, like in Wild, that I always love to do, but it just feels a little cheap that you're trying to exploit that and turn it into a whole microtransaction fiesta. And this game always seems more active than what it actually is, though, because it's so big on Twitch. Like, you always still have 10K viewers watching and stuff like that, which is more than Magic Arena has, or not even just Magic Arena, but Magic overall. I always make fun of that. Magic the Gathering is not even specified in categories. There's one Magic the Gathering category, and it's for every version of the game. The physical game, tabletop, you know, tournaments, digital games, Magic Online, the one game, you know, the older one, Magic Arena, any other ones that they have, single player Magic games that they have, like everything combined, right, in one category. And it still has less viewers than this, for example, where it would have like 2,000 or 2.5K when I was playing it. Like, I'm not saying that a game has to be popular on Twitch to be good, but I'm also confused by it, because you're able to okay, I don't know what's happening. Maybe just nobody's playing the twist mode at all. I don't get it. But yeah, we'll go through these 3 decks, and then that'll actually be the end of the Mage. Maybe I didn't play the Mage really all that much, because yeah, I remember doing the Paladin, and then I probably started the Mage at the beginning of August, and then I stopped playing like right mid-August or something, so it would have been relatively early into the last expansion, the Perils in Paradise. I just like to stay in touch with this game, because it's something I said too, like, I'll never stop playing this game until it goes offline, but that doesn't mean I won't stop for a couple of months. But like, in essence, in spirit, I'll always play this game because it's so good. And just, I always tell that story about the beta. I got a closed beta key for this, and I got a PS3 to play GTA 5 because I never had a PS3 or a proper console, like modern console, aside from shitty Nintendo ones that wouldn't be up to playing GTA 5. So I got a PS3 bundle with GTA 5, and I was able to make that decision because it was right around the same time. And it's such an awesome story, because it's like, so I have a closed beta key for Hearthstone, and I have a PS3 that I just bought with a bundle for GTA 5. Which one am I gonna play? And then I try to give GTA 5 a chance, but then I end up getting addicted to Hearthstone, and then I don't even play GTA 5, and then I don't play it until, I don't beat it until 2015 when it comes out on PC, right? So I literally, I guess you could blame console for that in part, but literally what ends up happening is the simple fact that you literally chose Hearthstone over GTA 5 because of how much I like card games, or whatever the reasoning is, or because of how good it was. And I always mention that mission of Trevor at the docks, where I'm doing that little heist preparation as Trevor, where I'm at the, you know, you're gonna steal the Merryweather guarded treasure or whatever it is, right? Where you're at the docks and you're looking through the telescope and stuff. And that was such a boring, uneventful mission that I really felt just bored by it. So at that point, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm not gonna play this. And then I ended up just only playing Hearthstone and getting addicted to that for a while. So it is an amazing compliment to give that I literally chose your game over GTA 5 right when they both came out. So this isn't going particularly well, but I do like these little mini permadeath sessions of each thing, like where every deck has 1 life. So I play each one till I lose once, and I don't even know what the difference is between the other two. They're basically the same. Imagine playing Cthulhu. How boring, dude. Alright, that's all fine. You can tell I'm still trying to do the anti-spell vibe, even if you can only do so much of it. But I mean, you could have Trogzor in here. I'm just too much of a clown to have the dust to do it, which is unfortunate. I was happy about the Whizbang expansion for one reason only. The fact that we got a new Whizbang that you could mess around with, which is one of those gimmick. Oh, they buffed this. I don't think I've seen that. Since this is such a shitty sort of empty turn, I may as well just do it. Right, like I had nothing to do anyway. One thing I wanted to do in terms of React content that I just remembered for some reason is like I wanted to like watch all the Harry Potter movies and read all the books like in an on-stream kind of context to be able to, because I've never actually done that. So that would be a great form of React content. And I wouldn't necessarily show them. If I become like a bigger streamer, slightly more popular even, I might do that. Like I've never seen them, so I could do like a companion piece thing, read the book and do the thing. And it's like I should have done that first. And then play the game too. Like it'd be so cool. So like maybe I'd watch the movie first, react to the movie, review it, everything. Then I'll play the game, then I'll read the book, or in whatever order. But you do like all three of them. Arcane Blast, okay. I could kill that, but then you're just gonna get another one. So what's the point? You do have this, obviously, if you target something, and the whole irony of that is most of the minions in the actual anti-spell mage deck that I'm using are elusive anyway. So the one time you can finally target something like Lothab or Trogzor, you would get absorbed by this. But no, that is a real insult to have this deck without Trogzor in there. That's a shame. Yeah, target something. Ah, but you keep copping out with that effect. Okay, I might polymorph that because I'm having trouble doing anything. Of course, their health value is nutty. I like how my disposition is always that I could be losing, but I'm still enjoying it, because in principle, it's like all comes down to how I play, right? Like I'm losing my way, or I'm playing, you know, the way I want to with the deck that I want to, or whatever. So I find it fun. I posted my Path of Exile 2 video, and that's getting a similar response to my Path of Exile 1 video. In fact, bro, this guy is cheesing me with the where people are getting triggered by it. He's bypassing my spell immunity by playing stuff that is specifically, you know, minion effects, which is very unfair, bro. It's like if I was using Jinzo Spell Canceller in Yu-Gi-Oh, but then, oh, they use monster effects to bypass that, like, which aren't really that common in this game, that you'd be, I mean, they're more common now than in the past, but okay, dude. Okay. I mean, there's precisely 0 I can do right now, so let's just move on to the wild one. But no, there's some interesting overlaps that happen where, like, oh, I happen to be playing a certain deck, and then I got to show off a cosmetic with that class at the same time. And there's also the fortuitous nature of this, the fortuitous nature of being able to play it in the twist mode at the time, etc., etc. We're almost level 60 as a mage, which of course a mage was my original character in WoW, so it's very close to home. But honestly, I never really liked mages in this game too much. Like if I was to rank, I've done this like a million times, but let me rank. At least my most played class, it would be Warlock and Warrior. I'd probably say, it's hard to say which one's my favorite between the two. I'll say Warlock overall is my favorite ever. Warrior had some really high points, but it also has some low points where there's a lot of boring stuff, especially in Arena. They're typically bad historically. I loved like Justicar with that Armor Warrior early on, but yeah, it'd be like Warlock number 1, Warrior number 2, and then at the bottom of the list would be like Rogue and Priest and Demon Hunter, and maybe Death Knight I won't even really count, but that'd be somewhere in the middle of the pack. So let's try to sort the other ones here. I like Shaman. I like all of them. Paladin would probably be the lowest on the totem pole here, though, from the ones that are left. Right, so it would be Paladin. Then, I guess I have a soft spot for Druid, actually. It would be like Paladin, then maybe Hunter, Shaman, Druid, Mage. Something like that. Or it could be reversed. Druid might be... There's so many things about Druids that I actually loved over time, but... I never really play them all that much. Playing powerful spells and commune with arcane dragons to awaken the magic within. Why is that part of the description? With arcane dragons? That's such a specific thing. Like, yes, there are certain mechanics like that, but there's a lot, you know, that's not inherent to a mage. Right? There's a lot of mechanics you could use, like, that's too limiting. Yeah, we'll play as this one till I lose, and the next one till I lose. Dragon Dance Celeste.
Let us celebrate a new beginning.
Behold the magic of
So of course, we have all the elusive minions you could wish for, and the only thing mainly that I'm missing here is, I guess I'm missing Sogoth, but he's just not a good enough value anymore compared to the Draconid, like 7 mana 7/7 with Taunt and Elusive, or 9 mana 5/9 with Taunt and Elusive. Yes, I like the statting a little better, but it's basically a case... Oh, shit. It's basically a case where you're able to, like, why would you pay 2 more for the same total statting? 14 7/7 versus 5/9 is still 14/14 total. And so what you get is, you get the ability to realize that it's not worth the extra 2 mana for that. If they were the same cost, then you could always consider, or even like 8, right? But 9 is just simply not practical, but it was an iconic card at the time that people just couldn't deal with, right? You would just play it when they've already used everything up, or even if they haven't, because they can't target him in the first place. So it made it so hard to deal with. In those attrition-based matchups. Okay, gain 1 mana crystal. I don't like Time Warp.
processing.
Very irritating mechanic. Copy the highest cost spell in your hand. Is that going to be the actual Time Warp?
Now watch as I pull.
Oh no.
I don't really care about the armor even. I'll just get that out of the way now. So hopefully it would have been better probably for him later. You know what I should do? I should play this with a controller the way I was doing with, I'll be like Far From Subtle, where I always remember him playing with that, and I wondered why, and even potentially how. But no, I was doing, I actually want to try it like right now. Would it work if I just open, I was doing it for chess. Maybe after this game, I don't want to ruin it. Then I'll have to unplug my mouse because my gaming laptop that I stream on is obviously only has 2 USB slots in it, which is itself odd. I mean, this would be worth it just to cast whatever spell that's going to be. Summon 3 1/1 1/3s. It's a very good card actually. Relatively newer Elusive edition, or maybe not, maybe just I never used it because I didn't play as Mage a lot, or in a while. I can never tell what these icons actually are, like what expansion it's from. It might have been the Dark Moon Fair expansion, but just because that's the subject matter, but it could be anything else. But I can barely see it, and I wouldn't necessarily even recognize it for what it is. Okay, that was kind of a waste. Stone Drake is kind of cute.
I don't have enough mana.
Okay, this is very well and good. I'm not in a bad spot, but what you really need to win with this deck, even as bad as it is, the one chance you get is if you play Lorthamar on curve. If I play him on turn 7, and then I get some really good values after that, then I'll be in good shape. But what's going to happen? AoE can be one of your weaknesses, silence can be one of your weaknesses, minion effects can be a weakness, right? All of that stuff can be very tough. Also just healing and sort of long game control stuff that can last it out. You got to end it relatively quickly in the mid-range where you just get a good board and they can't do anything about it. Where, you know, you have some of these juiced up values. The most important card actually in this becomes Lorthamar, even though that's not elusive, just because of how it ends up working out. Like, Yeah, how about this, bruh? You wouldn't have accounted for that, would you? How could you have possibly predicted that? Yeah, go ahead, play up 9 mana Time Warp. I don't give a fucking shit. It'll at least mess up whatever else you're trying to do, surely. Then you get to play it an infinite number of times, like... Take 1 damage at a time. Okay, dude, I don't care. You paid 7 mana for that. That's fine. Doesn't even bother me at all, dude. So how is your Time Warp going to go is my question. I need Lotheb as well. So I didn't get Lorthamar in a proper curve, so that's the one thing that really holds me back here. See, look at him struggle. Look at the dilemma. I love these moments. This is what this deck is all about. You see them mouse over an elusive minion helplessly, and then you also see them struggle to even deal with the things that aren't elusive. Now I'd have counter spells, so even if you did that, look how inefficient that is. But now he's totally going to Time Warp and still win, and I just don't even care. He seemed to have some reservation about the taunt, but he's also just going to AoE me. I can't talk for some reason today. He's going to AoE me into the ground for some reason, and the reason why he's going to do that is because of the simple fact that, like, I can't hold back. Like, I have to end it right now. So if he can deal with this, I lose. If not... Look at how inconvenienced he was by that, though. This is a very bad card by all metrics, but I do love it because... And it does it to you, too, but I don't really care because I don't even play spells except to counter them, basically. But, yeah, like, compared to Lotheb, it's an ongoing effect, but it's just not really... Like, it's the same value, too. A 6-mana 5/5 for an ongoing effect versus a 5-mana 5/5 with a much better effect where it's... increases the cost by 5 and only for your opponent, but only next turn. The fact that this is ongoing, I guess, is what you could argue makes it better, but I almost don't want to do another one here. Like, I don't want to play anything else. I just want to put the pressure on.
Stars truly aligned.
How extraordinary.
Here comes Time Warp for 7 mana, though. Won't that mess you up a little bit, or... Okay, all these ways to remove stuff that are not spells. Like, come on, bro.
Now watch as I pull.
I'll do that just to try to take advantage of it. Oh, wow. Oh, I played that too fast then, so we didn't have a chance to undo it. So now I'm most certainly going to lose. Obviously, Time Warp is incoming. I guess he's farther from it than I would have thought, but like when you do a play like that, it just ruins the game because it's like, okay, you know, I had one chance to win and he just didn't let me do it, so forget it. There's no way I can recover even on the board with that. Like, it's too much. Are you trying to get him low? You trying to beat him in the mid range before it drags on too long, and just you can't do it. This is random every turn. Deal 2 damage, draw a card. Good thing you can't do it to my minions, at least. So often, the fact that they can't be targeted by hero powers is almost irrelevant. It's only over time with how many different alternate heroes there have been and different, you know, adjustments to the hero power. When you think about the base vanilla game, the fact that they're immune to hero powers doesn't matter because it only affects a mage and a, you know, potentially a priest. But I mean, that doesn't even... That would be if you're trying to heal your own, that it would hurt you. So, you know, it was a very limited scope. So, oh, it's immune to Fire Blast from a mage. That's literally it. I mean, I almost wanted to go face, but it's just whatever we're trying to do, it's just never going to happen. And again, if you don't get Lorthamar, you just can't even play the game. That's the problem with it. But no, should I try to mess around with the controller? Or maybe I'll do that in a different session. I don't know. I kind of want to try just like one game. I'm kind of OCD about touching it though, unless my hands are like really clean. Which they're not really dirty, but just whatever. I wasn't planning on it. As soon as he played Reno, I knew it was over because obviously it just drags it out way too much. I would have had one chance and one chance only of winning. And the reason why is because it's very limited in scope. Oh, wow. And as soon as he played Reno, I knew I was going to lose. But which one, dude? Okay. At least end it quickly, man. Now it's going to drag on, but I already know I have no chance of winning. I mean, there's just nothing you can even do. Right, there's nothing in this deck that could make this work now, aside from... Why is it taking so long to do Time Warp, though, even? Like, this is a lot of work. The fact that I have, Lorthamar would have been a good early consideration. Now it's way too late. Assuming that he couldn't deal with everything I have, but he was able to deal with it anyway. Like, Reno would have still worked. Stuff like that. That he has all these minion effects and different things that he's using to try to remove my my minions. Like, the one thing that would actually work is all the mechanics he's using. I don't like to resign, just like in chess I have the honor code, but I love seeing them mouse over stuff. That's one of my card game fetishes, I guess, seeing their powerlessness. The idea that you have, I mean, if I get Lorthamar even now and I top deck a couple good things, maybe something can happen, but you're just not going to do it. You're never going to do it. Good to get that out of the way, at least for now. And if he summons anything big, I could deal with it with that, but the point is, he's just going to destroy me with the Time Warp, so it's over. There's nothing you can do, and I think they changed it so that bird doesn't work with Time Warp anymore, but I always will criticize something, and at the time, people will chill for the game or whatever, like, oh no, Time Warp isn't overpowered, you just suck, or you just have to counter it, or this or that. Yeah, good, you know, stop complaining. But then they do nerf it, or some aspect of it, like the bird working with it, and then, oh yeah, that's totally right, they should have done it because it was overpowered. Like, bro, is Lorthamar even in the fucking deck or what? That's why this guy's even in here. Your max costs one less. Okay, it doesn't matter. But no, I actually used the controller while playing chess, which was pretty funny at one point, which it wasn't even that bad of an experience. I mean, same thing, using a mouse isn't exactly very intensive unless you're trying to play super fast and bullet and stuff. But yeah, maybe I'll try a different time. I don't feel like it right now. I'm always so tired when playing Hearthstone. It's like, that was one of my favorite joke titles, actually. Ever seen someone half asleep play Hearthstone? Oh, right, it's 2024. Or maybe it was 2023. But no, it's 2024, as if to imply that, of course, everybody's half asleep all the time because it's so boring. But actually, it was, you know, I'm just making a joke on that, like how I'm always half asleep while playing. Not because the game is even boring or because what I'm doing is boring, because actually I find it quite fun, but maybe compared to the meta or whatever. But that is a really on the point thing. Oh, now you give it to me. Now you do it, bro. A little late to the party, like joining the universe in the game and Burning Crusade, like when all this shit has already gone to hell. Where were you when Kael'thas was around and everything else was happening in Warcraft 3? I am basically completely wrecked and there's nothing I can do and it's over.
My spellbook's running late. I'm out of cards. Extraordinary.
Or is this part of his plan to run out of cards? Or is he just doing it this as some sort of BM honor code? Like, you really need to wait this long to use Time Warp, bro? If these people were using it on turn 6, turn 7 and just one-shotting me, like, I guess without the bird it might be a little more difficult. My board isn't bad, but the health situation just isn't going to work because they have way too much health.
I'm out of cards.
You know, that value is pretty good. 8-12, 5 mana, 8-12. But the problem is that you're, well, the fatigue could help. I don't know what the Time Warp is that he's playing at. Like, why don't you just do it? Do 4 damage, shuffle ignite. Okay, fine. I love seeing these higher cost spells that you ordinarily take for granted too. Just the fact that I don't know why I'm having such a hard time talking today. You might think it's because I'm tired, but normally that doesn't affect it. But no, it's basically a situation where let me see here. I guess I don't even care too much about the... He's almost dead just from the fatigue alone, honestly. If you can... Or, yeah, amazing. Like Jesse Lee Peterson. So if I literally just hit him once more, but then he will die because the secret won't trigger, so the fatigue will kill him on his own turn. You would think Time Warp would do it. I don't know how that missed. Like how he's missed a chance to do it all this time. Okay.
Those who wield it.
Wait, why was that so cheap again? Oh, because obviously I left Thracian out there for so long. Okay, dude. When are you actually going to do that? Or wait, did I not even pay attention to him doing it before? I always wonder about the order in which this happens, like... Right, to what effect that's really relevant, because you not only are you relying on it to play every spell, but you also know the order by heart, and that's going to play an impact based on that. You could end up overdrawing by doing this, and your ice block wouldn't even protect you, but I guess your little stupid shield will, that makes you only take 1 damage per thing. That does almost make you fatigue immune, because you're only, you know, taking 1 per time, and it's not that big of a deal. And of course, I am the one who fatigues out when I'm even questioning that they might. Let me do 1 more game here, at least. I mean, this other deck. Play as each deck till I lose, and this one might be virtually identical to the other. Yeah, like Twist Mode and Tavern Brawl are things I would normally like, but the problem is when they go off, it's like you should be able to do any of them anytime if you really want. And if nobody else is playing it, that's fine. You don't hold that against the game, but I don't like how these games don't let you mod it or make your own game modes or own cards within it or whatever. Or they should just bootleg, drag that over here. They should drag Warcraft 3 over here. Warcraft 3. The Warcraft TCG, they should just make in this game as like a side mode or something. Bro, flexing a legend card back at Ron's rank 10, chicken rank 10, but then again, he might not be chicken rank 10. The matchmaking is so busted that they don't even show it anymore as to who you're actually facing. But I almost should do that because of how annoying that thing can be. Gain 6 armor. You know what card game I said I was going to play at some point that I just haven't gotten around to is Duelist 2. That was meant to be a whole series that I was doing, but it just didn't, never had time. There's so many things I don't have time to do, actually. Right, like there's a million different series that I left hanging and different things I could do. I could make a series out of Path of Exile 2 or even Part 1 again. Certain communities are just so funny with that, though. Like they take it so seriously, like they define their whole ego and life existence value from it. And even if you're not wrong for doing that, like, okay, you're not wrong. You might have played the game every day of your whole life and you might actually extract a lot of gratification and ego from it. I'm not even criticizing that or saying that you're wrong, but that might be how you played it, but that's not how everybody else plays it. So when somebody's playing it for the first time, again, your ego and all that aside, that's fine, but don't overextend and outwardly insist that and assume that everybody else is doing it for the same reason, right? That's my only point. So you're not even necessarily wrong. It's just 30 returns, spend 5 to give you 5 health. Right, so you like with WoW, you could look at that like, oh, you play WoW all day, every day for 15 years, and then, you know, anytime somebody new plays the game or something, you want to pick on them or something, feel like you're better than them, defining again like your whole self-worth and being from that. But it's not, because you're able to look at the difference. Like for somebody else, oh, they're just playing the game for the first time and they're just trying it. It's not a big deal, you know. It's not the end all be all. They're not playing it every day. They're just trying it out. They're just playing it briefly. Maybe someday they'll become a big fan of it to that extent. But yeah, anytime you play Lorthamar, you actually have a chance. But the problem being that you can't actually, and of course I always call that guy the name dropper, because he name drops both for the Lich King, for Kel'Thuzad. He name drops both of them like he knows them personally, right, in his voice lines. Like, chill out, bro. I was the first person on the planet to actually see that improved hero power, because, which might actually be true, because I made a point to see it that first day, right? And I don't think anybody else would have thought about that or done it that early, at least. Actually, this makes a lot more sense. Giving him this much health is not, maybe we can figure out what the limit of it is, because it was around 55 to 60 that we would sometimes see with the other Death Knight cards, like the one that gives you like +5 or +10 based on sacking the corpses. It's like a 2-cost card with whose name I forget. What does it even do again though? Summon a 2/1 with charge, so it's not really that much better. You would think the upgraded form would be the 1/1, but it doesn't die at the end of the turn. Would be a suitable upgrade, or either it doesn't die, or you summon 2 of them, or something like that would have maybe made more sense. Do we need like another
Your feeble magic amuses me.
we needed basically an ability to this is like a fucking boss battle right here. We need to get some minions that we can actually play with the Lorthamar buffed up value. And so in a way, the longer the game goes on, the more interesting and fun it's actually going to be, because you get to really stretch those values out. I always said that they should have done the Ungoro card back that has the vines and stuff and looks a lot like this. Actually, it has some of the same coloration in the middle. Should have been the Wild Legend card back, right? So for Wild Legend you get that, for Standard Legend you get this, and then for Legend rank 1 you should get something too to incentivize it. Those are the two things that, again, I've never done. Never gotten to rank 100 on the reward track, and I've never gotten to Legend rank 1 in the history of the game. I could, again, cop out and say, oh, I never tried to because I just didn't play that much, but... Or no, not that I didn't play too much, but... the fact that I basically, it's useless to even try to... useless to even try to go face, because it's never going to do anything. Like, this would have to go on for a while, but I would have to get some good values like this. The health values on these taunts are actually pretty satisfying too. Right, the attack value is nothing to write home about, but a 10 health elusive minion is going to be very hard to deal with. Do they have an existential crisis and then start to target themselves?
Put your soul into it.
Starship, okay. Yeah, making it from a 1/1 to a 2/1 is not a very strong improvement. It should be make 2 1/1s with charge, or make a 1/1 and it no longer dies at the end of the turn. That would be adequate. What am I looking at with this thing anyway? Summon the minion Stitch to this. All enemy minions, when they die, you get a 2/2 zombie with taunt. Okay, fine. Okay, the poison is very convenient. After you summon an undead, give it poisonous. How convenient, bro. Oh wait, shouldn't you have done that before or what?
My blood for the Lich King.
He's trying to name drop the Lich King too. Yeah, say his name. It's not Arthas, it's fucking Ner'zhul. Where is that goddamn armor? If I miss it now, that would really be crushing. The duplicate is gonna be important. Again, I'm not trying to go face necessarily. See, I could stay in the game just with the pure... I should have the octopus guy in here too. It lets you draw like 8 cards, but the point is that...
My dreadblades crave blood. Time infectious.
Okay, let's just finish this shit off, and that's really annoying. Okay, what do we got here before I literally pass out? I love what a trend that actually is, though. Me always half asleep when playing Hearthstone. It's not the game's fault, I swear. Like, I'm done, bro. Just get it over with. I'm assuming I'm gonna lose this, but if I win, that would be fun, and maybe I should make it permanent. Then I'll play as it until I lose, period, even if it's on the next episode. He only has 3 cards left here. Yeah, that's the fatal mistake of this game. My Ryan Gosling moment where you put it flat. Right, put it flat so you can see the card back instead of at this weird vertical angle that you can't do anything with it. They have 3 cards left, 4 cards left. I'm in full top deck mode. He's gonna take a century too. I don't want you to resign, but it's also for the sake of time. Okay, it's their move. I have no cards in my hand. Okay, what do we got here? Splitting image. Okay, we got a decent number of secrets, but we don't have anything we can actually play right now. Bro. But that's why I should just stream early in the morning. I should never do it this late because it's just dumb. Okay, you get compensation for that, so I shouldn't have even bothered. It's like a self-defeating mindset, like, oh, you're gonna hide, and then... Alright, just get it over with quickly again. This guy roleplayed as a boss fight, basically, because he... Yeah, that's really gonna save me. Roleplayed as a boss fight because he's basically able to... have such an insane amount of health.
Now what is I cannot prepare for the wars to come.
But yeah, that was always a cool revelation in the past that, like, when many years ago, but like when you realize that, oh, their secrets don't work on their turn, or certain effects, like, oh, they would have been immune to lethal, but it wasn't your lethal on your turn, it was theirs on their turn. That's like from oversleeping on their bed, or from doing something the other way. Okay, see you tomorrow. Okay, so today's going to be my actual grand finale for my, what I'm calling my Gimmick Gauntlet series, where I went through every single class except for Demon Hunter, Death Knight, and Rogue, either my least favorite classes, or you could say just my least played classes, and of course 2 of them are new, so I guess you could say Rogue is my least favorite class for, I think, some actual pretty valid reasons, that they're sort of they're wannabe cosplayers where they try to roleplay as other classes in a contrived way, not as some gimmick, but as some, what is this? Is this supposed to be like Elsa or some shit? In a way, I low-key kind of love that. It's stupid, but it actually is kind of beautiful at the same time. I kind of want that. If I get to 1,000 gold, I'll totally buy it. I don't know why I find that so fascinating. That is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, but Jaina honestly is very photogenic as a character. Like, all of her avatars look good, even if they're stupid ideas. Right, I've said that before, like where, oh, this Jaina looks good, that Jaina looks good. Like, just Jaina is just an iconic character. I don't know. Even when Jaina's going to commit genocide in Dalaran, oh, she still looks cool there with the weird Theramore bombed out hair. I forget, I didn't really play the game during that period of time, so I don't know. But yeah, we should try to get to 1,000 gold, or we probably already have it if we had gone through the reward track, but I guess not. Let's look at some mechanics that we're actually going to do in 5 games, which is harder to do than you might think. I'll have to remember, though. I actually want to get that. But no, I want to keep an eye on the Ner'zhul hero card, hero avatar that may or may not ever come out. But yeah, I'll do a finale episode now for the Mage Gimmick deck. And then we'll move on to what I'll call like the Galvanizing Gimmick series, where I try to make new gimmick decks. See, this was like more so me going through every single class and picking my favorite gimmick decks of all time that I played in the past and just replaying them and maybe iterating a little bit. So we went through all of them, obviously. Warlock, Warrior, you know, Hunter, Priest was more so underplayed class thing, like where I did like some meta deck or something just different, like almost what I do with Rogue, because it's hard to go back and revisit a gimmick deck when you haven't even played it in the first place like that. I did a third one too, though, like in the twist mode. Should I do that again? Or it won't even be the same. Or maybe it will be. Okay, so I'll play as the 3 the same way I did last time until each one loses. But my point is that, yeah, we went through all those classes again. Warrior, Warlock, Hunter, Druid, Shaman, Paladin, Priest, Mage, right? So excluding Rogue. And obviously the 2 new classes, if you will, the hero classes, like in WoW context. But that's okay because, again, the point is I revisited gimmicks with those. So that was like the Gimmick Gauntlet, which I never really called it that. I didn't really have a name for it. I was just calling it my Hearthstone Gimmick series because I love these kind of decks and I, you know, whatever. I come up with weird ideas to even combine different things. Like I'll have a deck with both Explorer and Goro and Zinazari in it. Or the one thing that I did though was so cool that I probably invented this idea if other people even did it, because I did it like right when these cards were available, was Renounce Darkness, but Renounce with Malkazar and Elise Trailblazer, and I think maybe even something else. So what that tells you is, so these are all anti-spell mage, of course. Elise Trailblazer is gonna affect your deck, right, in a different way, and so is Malkazar. So when you have those 2 together, it still affects your deck despite having Renounce Darkness replace every card in your deck because they're neutral. And, well, you know, Malkazar will affect it at the beginning of the game, and those might turn into Warlock legendaries anyway, but even if they do, they'll get transformed by Renounce. But whatever, that'll affect your deck in some way, either giving you extra cards that transform or just giving you cards that don't transform, as far as like, you know, giving you different legendaries. And then obviously Elise will give you that pack at any time. So I feel like there's something else I put in there too, but that's such a cool novel way to mix it up. Yeah, this will actually be the finale. I was saying it last time, but I was too tired to really enjoy it, which I might end up being too tired here as well. But this is obviously a classic one. I love this one, and I love the Druid one, where it's like an AoE buff thing, which Lord Thamar kind of ruins it in a way because he's just too good. But in a way, it's kind of funny because this gimmick deck was bad at the time that I played it, like around Frostlit Jaina or even before that, right, with trying to use all the elusive, evasive minions, etc. But even though it's bad now, and it was bad then, and it's always been bad, it's not as bad as you might think because of new power creep cards that you can incorporate into it, like like Lorthamar. So even though I'm complaining like, oh, that invalidates the whole deck and all the AoE buffs and stuff like that, you're going through so much effort, and you can just do that so much easier with Lorthamar because he's such a busted card by comparison to a lot of these older cards and older mechanics. And so now you realize that even though on one hand I'm complaining about it, on the other hand it makes it actually somewhat decent, at least comparatively, to what it would be otherwise, which is completely garbage. So it's weird. Like, there's a power creep that helps you keep up. So it was a bad deck in the past, and it's still a bad deck now, but it's not that much worse relatively to the best decks as it was, in 2018 or before. Because again, you're getting some power creep benefit as well if you can incorporate certain cards and certain mechanics. So I want to buy that Jaina thing for 1,000 gold, I guess. I have an arena run waiting. I already did the draft. I also want to mess around with kil'jaeden. Seems like a very fun card to use. I could do that with the Demon Hunter. I could do the stealth gimmick deck as the rogue. There's so many things I could do. Right, but those will be the 3 classes that I focus on now, which again will be rogue, which is my least played class probably in the history of Hearthstone, minus arena. But even then, like, I played arena with everybody, so I barely ever played it in constructed, rogue, and priest. But I already did priest at the beginning, so we'll do rogue as like our final main core class, and then we'll do what actually should happen in a case like this. If something's frozen, right, it shouldn't do that damage back. That's actually an interesting nuanced mechanic that I never really thought of before. Since it's frozen, yes, they can attack, but when I attack in, it also shouldn't damage me. That should be a side benefit, because what's it doing? I'm attacking into a frozen thing that has 3 attack, but what am I doing? Like, I'm hitting myself with its own arm. Like, why would the act of me hitting it, right? Like, I'm over analyzing it, but it kind of makes sense that it should work that way. You should be able to attack in as much as you want without it doing that. Or maybe the first attack should break the ice, and then the second one it'll be able to attack back or something, but you should get like a free hit that way. Ragnaros would be kind of cute. Some of this stuff is in here just at random because this is the twist mode, which I haven't really played the twist mode a lot, but I do like it, and it gives you a good excuse to let's not even worry about that. It gives you a good excuse to play if it suits with what I'm using already. Like, I'm trying to make the gimmick deck I was already using in this, and you could make it to some extent, but it wasn't really that good. Yeah, I was getting clowned by minion effects the last session where I thought, oh, look, you're reveling in the fact that you're immune to spells, but it doesn't do you much good if they have this many minion effects as the last guy had. Right, that's the one counter that you have in addition to many things. I'd like to make a copy of that, or maybe even with Baron Geddon, but it won't stick around that long. Yeah, this is a pretty fun one, and it's, again, not very good, but the main win condition in this day and age, like I said, is Lorthamar, which has nothing to do with the anti-spell thing, aside from the fact that, oh, it's buffing them, so it makes them even more difficult to deal with, which does sometimes give a challenge to even really good decks. And the reason why it does is because even if you have a good deck, if I get a turn 7 Lorthamar and then I keep top decking actual minions, elusive minions, now I'm getting a 7 mana 28/28, no, not 28/28, a 7 mana 14/14 with elusive and taunt, or all these other crazy values. So no matter how good your deck is and how power creeped out it is, you have a chance there at least to win that, or you can end it quickly if you get some good board presence. That's pretty much your only chance of winning against even a moderate deck, and it's sad to have to rely on that. But I mean, I do like Lorthamar, but he's just too good. He's one of those weird cards like that where even though I like him, he still kind of pisses me off because it's just like, oh sure, fuck it, we'll just put a card in the game that just doubles everything in your deck. Like, cool. Imagine that being there when the game came out, or you know, even years into it. Like, oh yeah, it's just completely busted, but it's okay because everything is busted because they were power creep modern state of the game. I love how that seems to justify itself. It's not overpowered if everything is overpowered.
Reporting for duty.
I guess that was not even necessary because Baron Geddon's gonna do its work anyway. I think I'm really gonna... Does he actually kill himself? He doesn't kill himself. I could never remember that. Or maybe they actually changed it. Maybe... Oh, I could have just actually killed him anyway. I literally could have killed him. Or will they kill each other now? I don't know what's even gonna happen here. It's gonna kill... It'd be cool if like they didn't damage each other that way either. And now I'm gonna actually end up losing, but if I had polymorphed that the previous turn, I probably would have won. Instead of just sitting and waiting on the 1-2 to be killed. It mirrors the modern state of WoW in the sense that like... Or at least what you hear about it, like everybody has everything now. Like a mage is gonna have 10 full heals, and so is a warlock, and you know, not like classes that actually are meant to heal like a priest. Oh no, warriors are gonna have more healing than priests used to have, or something like that, where you know everybody just has an answer for everything, and a million cooldowns, and a million, you know, ways to survive and heal and get out of bad situations. So there's no sense of finality to anything because it's very like. It's very touch and go in terms of everything is just sort of over the top, so it becomes less fun, right? Classes don't have identity because, oh, a warrior can heal really well, but oh, just a priest can heal better or whatever, heal other people. But you know, it just makes everything gentrified and meshed together where you have too much. Every class has too much. They can do too many things. They don't feel defined. They feel... That's at least what I've heard about it. I don't really even play. Or I haven't played retail hardly at all. Just once in a while just to fly around on my Ashes of Alar to explore everything. But oh yeah, because that was really worth it. And I'm still going to lose to this guy. Like, how is this so difficult, bro? Yeah, I'll do what I should have done. At the beginning, I get to kill you with the effect. Perfect, honorable kill too. Like, imagine losing to this actuary. Like, clearly this is a twist meta deck. But no, I badly want to get this done in terms of... I do want that Jaina, and I could even use it right now. I guess I haven't messed around with the mage avatars, but I don't really have too many. Literally Elsa, Frozen, Jaina roleplay, I guess. At least is what it makes me think of. Or some sort of other... Disney princess vibe. I'm not one of those people who actually hated Frozen the way that it becomes one of those contrarian things. Like, it's not bad, but it's also not as good and amazing as it was made out to be, where all the marketing and everything. I buy a box of wipes from Walmart and oh my goodness, it has Frozen. I get to wipe my ass with Elsa. Like, unironically, like there's all this branding and marketing everywhere, on everything. I remember that. Like, so many random things would have it. Yeah, we'll play this out until we lose as each of these decks, or if I don't, then it lasts long enough. But I will, in the next couple sessions, we'll do the arena. We already did the draft. I chose a druid. So that'll be our first arena of this expansion, even though this expansion might be pretty close to being over now, since I stopped playing at the beginning of Perils in Paradise, and I came back, I guess, around the middle or the end now of the Great Dark Beyond. Just call it the Twisting Nether, man. What the fuck? The Great Dark Beyond, which was supposed to be a WoW expansion, actually called the Twisting Nether. They even had it all worked out and some of the plans done for it. I think it was supposed to be the 90 to 100 one originally, but I forget. That was talked about a long time ago.
The magic of death.
I'm almost tempted to keep Ragnaros, but I don't really care. But no, yeah, we'll do the arena at some point. We'll do possibly other game modes. We'll just try to farm out some dust in general. Then we can mess around with kil'jaeden, do a demon hunter thing. I'll try like kil'jaeden as the demon hunter. I'd be tempted to do Archimon, but then I have to play Warlock, and that's not really what this is meant to be about. But I kind of want to use both of them together. I could use kil'jaeden and some sort of other gimmick as the demon hunter. Then I could use the all stealth gimmick deck as the rogue, and I could use the all I could focus on the hero card, the headless horseman, just because I've never used that and it's kind of fun. And I always was asking for, those are two things I was asking for the Death Knight when it came out, and they've given me one of them, the headless horseman, which was in there even when I was playing last time, but like before I stopped playing for a couple months, like August of last year. But I never actually have played it, and I don't think I've seen too many people play it either. But my point is, yeah, that would give me a good excuse just to play as that, the only hero card that they have, and a pretty, not really super cool one, but whatever, just the novelty of doing it as the Death Knight. Because it feels like every class should just have one. Yeah, that'll be sort of the emphasis. I mean, it'll just be in there at least. So we need the Headless Horseman for Death Knight. We need the kil'jaeden for, which we already have kil'jaeden in our collection, for the we already have kil'jaeden for the Demon Hunter, and then we already have all kinds of stealth minions for the Rogue. That seems like a fun way to set it up, but there's a lot of other things I could do with it too. But yeah, I don't find either of those classes actually all that interesting, although I played Death Knight quite a bit when it first came out. Now, if you do this, the problem is you're not going to be able to Flame Strike now, so you still have a lot of work to do. I could just like fire... No, I can't even Fire Lance Portal. No, Twist is fun, but it sometimes ends so quickly that you can't really enjoy it. Especially if you're filthy casual like I am these days anyway. I literally started playing Hearthstone again though, probably just to see if my little Ner'zhul armor thing is there, and I was afraid that I might miss it otherwise. I'll become paranoid now and try to keep looking it up or try to keep playing every day. I try not to look anything up in between when I play stuff. Like, I want it to be fresh and a surprise. So I didn't even know what the expansion was or anything. I'm just doing that to hopefully they won't have some lethal combination here. Just, you can go face if you want, then I'll flame strike everything. You know, you could be playing a bot and it would still be an intense game because of how shitty some of my decks are. Like, you can't even believe. Like, what is this in the Twist context? It's just, now you should trade in so I can't kill that. I'm sort of telegraphing that I have Flame Strike, but there's really nothing you can do about it. I thought you'd do that the other way where you have... you would have traded that and kept the other one.
I cannot do that.
Yeah, the Death Knight I had a good number of avatars on too, but I mean, again, there's one that I want and I genuinely do want it. But no, the class design of the newer classes both had flaws. Like, Demon Hunter felt sort of contrived and just a lot of cards that don't really seem that good. The whole left-right, I forget what it's even called. I hate that mechanic. Right, if it's the furthest left or the furthest right, outcast cards, right? I don't like that, and I also don't like the rune system is very insular and contrived. Like, these are not mechanics that you would have gotten away with if when the game first came out, right? It's too insular and no other class has anything like that to restrict them, so why that? If for some actual good gameplay reason, or just for to make it easier to design it and try to sort of balance it or whatever. Yeah, I still want to see I mean, I wouldn't mind if I win every game with this, but it seems kind of unlikely. I'm almost waiting and expecting Lorthamar here, but he's not in this deck because this is a twist mode, right? So I'd have to lose and do it in one of the other ones, but you know, we started off pretty rough in the other game, I feel like, or not so much started off rough, but then he sort of started to come back. This would be a pretty miraculous comeback as well.
We must cleanse the
Always a classic arena card that nobody can ever question. Damn, you screwed up my ability to even do that? Okay, bro. What?
How extraordinary!
Powered by Timu Chat GPT AI. Or, oh, that does 6 now anyway. Oh, look at that fucking bad luck. You get the shittiest 6 cost you could possibly ever imagine. Incredible. That's the double-edged sword of some of these random effects. Of which one of my favorite mechanics ever in the history of the game is Evolve for Shaman, because yes, it's random, but the principle behind it is very fun. Like, it's supposed to be improving it because it's a higher cost, but that doesn't always work out that way, but it's still a very fun base idea. I could make Ragnaros a taunt, which would be kind of... I love how he used the shield slam before. Like, what was that, dude? I hate when people are this slow. Like, this game is so trash anyway. Like, even whether I win or lose, I don't care. Like, this guy's just a clown. It's just, it feels like a bot, or if it's not a bot, he plays like one. Bro.
How extraordinary!
So boring, bro. Yeah, now you wonder why do I fall asleep, or why am I half asleep when I'm playing Hearthstone, and not just because of a boring show like this. In fact, what I've been doing is more exciting than anything else to me. Like, you know, I find it very fun to do these gimmicks and everything like that. We got the Lilith card back, which is sort of just incidental, no special meaning why I chose it. Did you have to like play Diablo 4 on this account to be able to get it, or I forget? Buy our $60 game for a fucking virtual card back that you can't even see properly because we put this Ryan Gosling triggered vertical effect. That's one of my favorite things ever, the SNL skit for that. It's so oddly specific that that's what humor is all about. Like, you just do something and commit to it hard enough and people will appreciate it. Not even just humor, but even just art and entertainment in general. If you just, it could be random, but if you commit to the randomness, then I'm pretty low actually to be dicking around like this, though. I shouldn't be taking these chances. Yeah, I saw this clip of like all these banned words. I don't know if it's in a Blizzard game or something, like talking about Hong Kong or Taiwan and stuff, free Hong Kong and whatnot. Very interesting that would be an issue, like, again, and like other things aren't. Saying that, oh, they suck or whatever, that's not banned, but only saying free them, like whatever, selective kind of shit. they have going on. I just want that Jaina one so I can flex it in this final episode here. Ah, they're not giving me gold for this though. Oh shit. Yeah, hello, since when do you not give gold? What? Oh, that's gonna take forever though. It's not like I can quit the arena out with my free tickets to do that either. This isn't gonna happen now because I got a bunch of levels with that or ranks with it, but I didn't get any gold from it besides that. I don't like the whole reward track system. It's just a contrived business model favoring kind of trash thing that they did in Magic, and I always said I never like it there. I'm glad that Hearthstone doesn't do it, but then after a while they adopted it, I think. Right, it was in Magic Arena, but now it's in both. Maybe I'll be too tired and find this an unsatisfactory session too, so then I'll want to do another one, especially to show off Jaina. But what I should say is at least I should go to all three of these lose, which I'm not going to lose on purpose, so let's see what happens.
Magni! I've got the roast with the most.
Behold the magic of death.
Impressive hardcore gameplay at bronze rank 8 because it ends up being pretty tough just because, again, some of these decks are so bad, and this one is especially bad because it's not even a full gimmick. I can't even do it because this is twist, so a lot of the cards won't even fit in here, so it has some basic outline of it, but it's not very good. Well, it's not very good in Wild either, but it's more cohesive at least. I feel like we see this background a little bit too much, even though I do like it.
Smells of fun. So fun.
This whole 40 health thing always triggers me, just with the Renethal and all that nonsense. I really don't want to even do that, but
Smells of fun. So fun.
it's like, why do I yawn more while playing Hearthstone than while playing chess? Not to any fault of the game, although that would be quite an insult if you were saying that, like, oh, this is more boring than chess. But no, just because of the, typically when I play this, it's at a weird time. Like either it's later than normal or it's just on a day where I'm busy doing other things, and then I would always do it on Sunday, and Sunday would be a day for me to catch up and do things in real life that I don't have time during the week. But then, you know, it makes this kind of a little more difficult because you go into it this way.
Speak to me.
You know, like where I'm go into it tired and whatever. See, I don't want to do it, but I'll do it because I'm not trying to like save everything for optimal purposes. But there really is no value in doing the twist one here. But if I'm winning, I'm winning. But like, there's no point when you don't have Lord Thamar in any win condition. But you could argue, oh, the decks you're going against aren't going to be that good though. But relatively, they'll still be better than what I'm doing. That's a nice card back, actually. Which, again, you can't see or really appreciate from that position. The coloration just kind of reminds me almost of the Mist of Pandaria one, which people were really impressed and surprised to see that I have it because, you know, oh, that means you were one of the first people playing the game, but that's not true. Like in 2014, but actually, it means that, you know, I was playing in the closed beta, so like, you know, that was even before that. Right, I was so intensely desiring to get it, and then the beta key.
I don't have enough mana.
Or I didn't even mean to do that.
Spells are fun. So fun.
Okay, it seems unlikely that I'll have a chance to win this, even though I did just make a misclick last turn.
It's getting hot in here.
Always the minion effect. Normally I'd mock that, like really who uses this, but... You can get some kind of AoE here that could be helpful, but I'm not really feeling too strongly about this one. And clearly I'm losing on purpose just because I want to see Lorthamar in action. I feel like I'm obligated to get Jaina though, because if I don't get it now, it might be gone or something. How they rotate stuff out like that.
It's getting hot in
I'm so happy they brought back Nazoth though to the shop at one point, because I always wanted that one so badly. Now I'll complain the fact that, oh, that one's gold and it's not supposed to be gold, so somehow it's a different version or something, which I don't know if that's true or not, but what a clutch. You would have another heal here, which maybe I could have waited, but it's okay. Yeah, I'm almost feeling like I keep lying and saying it's the finale, but like it is the finale, but it might have to be a multi-part finale because I can't do it. Like I'm too tired. I cannot give it a satisfactory outcome like this. Okay, bro, we know you're gonna win, but you're kind of making this annoying unless I get like a flame strike now. Okay, dude. Okay, you're meant, I don't want to play as the twist one, but you're meant to. You are meant to win every single twist game that I play. What can I say? I'm still gonna lose too somehow. This guy seems to have a good deck. Yes, of course. Well, it's kind of cool how much healing you have. Am I missing something as to why that's... Like, he's got some late game win condition that's going to justify him healing himself so much that way. So his goal isn't to kill me here. Like, he'll never be able to do it if he keeps recycling all this stuff. Yeah, I might still not be satisfied, but at least let me get Jaina, and then I could do yet another finale episode. I think my problem is I've been waking up kind of too early lately, so then I get tired early too. Like my whole sleep schedule is a little different now. Or like I wake up in the, you know, early and then I can't go back to sleep when I normally should. I shouldn't be dead from that, and he is pretty low on cards, but it's just not working out. Like, there is no win condition that I have. There's nothing that I can do. Okay, that was my first legendary, actually. Which is maybe why I gained such an affinity for Warrior early on. Right, because I was encouraged to play it from that reason alone. I call this the Dwayne Wade of my Hearthstone experience. As in, you know, Dwayne Wade was my first... Not just in NBA 2K14, but like my first ever, because that was like the first game I played, or at least online, where it was my first gold player, which at that point gold was the best. There was none of this Diamond, Galaxy, Opal kind of BS. So he was the first gold player that I got, and he would carry me, and I got really into it. I love that as an analogy, like, yeah, I'm reminiscing on that and how fun that was to play, like from 10 years ago, but yet the modern version wouldn't be as fun because it's more busted and, you know, microtransaction heavy and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, he's still gonna win after all that, which is nutty. Absolutely nutty. All the counter spelling stuff doesn't do me much good here. I mean, at least we kind of burned out his hand a bit, but it doesn't seem like health-wise I had any chance to beat him. Oh, I guess I got kind of lucky there. I'm down to 1 HP. Right, literally 1 HP. Or I could have been. I'd love to see myself have a chance, but it always makes me think of Ice Block here too, because I have so little defensive, so few defensive cards actually in here, but I okay, just hurry it up, bro. Come on, stop going AFK, dude. You got 2 cards. How much is there to actually think about? Bro is trying the old insomnia strategy. He's gonna put me to sleep in the middle of the game. I could still win too. That's the whole sad part. Like, I don't even want to win this one, but I can't help it. Like, it's just going on and on and on. Yeah, would he dare jeopardize his weapon at this point? That could be posed for lethal later, unexpectedly. Oh my god, yeah, I better do this like tomorrow morning or something. I don't know why every single time. Hearthstone is cursed for me in that way, which is really not the game's fault. I certainly won't say like, oh, it's because it's boring or something. That's not what it is. You can say that about the meta state being stale, but you can say that about anything pretty much. Like, if people can take anything seriously, and if they do, it'll reveal certain things about it where, you know. Okay, bro is just asleep himself, I guess. Like, why does it take that long to make a move? You got 3 cards, 2 cards now. Now he's gonna think you baited out counter spell, but not really, because I can do it again. And again, you wouldn't have very many options to choose to bait from, is kind of the whole point. Look at how long these games go on for. Like, come on. Like, what is this, dude? I've been at like 7 health or less for like an hour, and then... Yeah, all these cards would be nice if you actually had a minion to use them in conjunction with. Yeah, this will take the whole time, and we'll miss out on our little Elsa thing. Unfortunately, because you have to win, but it's like a tournament in chess, where on the chess, like, where you have to win, but you also have to win a lot of games quickly to be able to achieve a certain goal of some kind. Yeah, it'll be cute to get that for a mage skin, but then you end up not really. I guess I could get it tomorrow. The likelihood of it going off in that much time is pretty low. Oh, that could be the exact cutoff point. Would you just hurry up, dude? You're so annoying. Okay, dude. Finally, we get something. I like that feature actually in Hearthstone of when you run out of cards, you don't automatically lose the game, but it does put you at obviously a disadvantage with the fatigue damage and lack of resources now going forward. Like, I do like that as an approach. Okay, so that would be the extent of the twist mode, and then I should carry this forward now in a cumulative way. Even if I got that 11 out of 12, I'm gaining somehow some weird disproportionate amount of experience. We would need 3 more. Like, how? That's so stupid. Okay, see, I mean, I'll do it tomorrow in the morning, I guess. See you later. Okay, so this episode is going to be the actual grand finale for Hearthstone. Or, I mean, not for Hearthstone, but for the Gimmick deck Gauntlet that I was doing. So the Mage deck, and I wanted to get to 1,000 to get this little Elsa-looking Jaina, which hopefully she's still on there. I just randomly saw that yesterday. So I've said the last couple sessions will be the finale, but it's because I'm half asleep. There's some curse with Hearthstone where I'm always half asleep when I'm playing it, which I don't know why. In terms of Frost Fairy, so if I get to 1,000, which I should. Yeah, I'll play through these Mage decks one last time. Then after that, we'll do the arena at some point later in another session, right? We got to do the arena. We have to do potentially other game modes. I'll just make like a little mini series out of that. Then I'll farm out some dust, even though I'm about to waste 1,000 gold. And then I'll do some other, you know, the 3 main classes we'll consider are Death Knight, Demon Hunter, and Death Knight, Demon Hunter, and Rogue. And then obviously we also have some fun new cards like kil'jaeden and stuff to try out. I don't know how long is actually left of this expansion. Right, because I kind of just came back a couple days ago to playing this. So again, I quit at the beginning. Not really quit, but I took a break at the beginning of Perils in Paradise. I guess I took my own little vacation, which is what the whole theme of that expansion was. And then I came back, like, I assume in the middle of this one, if you think about it. So yeah, I'll play each of these Mage decks until I lose. That should constitute maybe a good finale, which I've been trying to do, but like I said, I'm not satisfied when it's like a half asleep session, which today definitely isn't because it's earlier. So yeah, it's just an anti-spell Gimmick Mage deck. It's not really that great, but you know, again, quality is hardly the goal with these gimmicks. So we're going to go from the Gimmick Gauntlet, where I'm going through some of my old school favorite Gimmick decks over the course of the history of the game. Right, with each class, I'm picking like my favorite Gimmick deck or decks to try out for a certain period of time. Right, that's what I've done basically the last year in my Hearthstone experience. And then now we're going to move from doing the old school gimmicks in a Gauntlet to now doing like a galvanizing gimmicks, I guess I'll call it, where I'm trying to come up with new ones or do it for classes that I typically haven't played very much, like Death Knight, Demon Hunter, Rogue. There's nothing to go back to because I never really played them that much in the first place, and so I'll try to find a fun mechanic, a gimmick, anything like that to use, and I might do that a little bit later, though. Well, I might do a rough version of it, but then I want to like save up a whole bunch of dust and then maybe do it for real. Like, I want to save up enough dust to make every single Death Knight, Demon Hunter, and Rogue card in the whole history of the game, which that would take like literally a year for me to... Even that's a kind estimate. It'd take me years to do that because, first of all, I'm not going to play that much, but second of all, you know, that's just one of those dream kind of things that just never happens. That's what I was thinking of when I first started playing the game, right? Like even in the closed beta, or I came up with that idea, like I'll commit to one class and one class only, so I get my first legendary as warrior, like Garrosh, right? Or not Garrosh, Grom. And then I think, okay, I'm going to disenchant every card that isn't a warrior card from now on and only commit to a warrior. So even if I have a limited collection, I'll maximize as many warrior cards as I can possibly have. But that seems like a good idea, and certainly if you did that throughout the history of the game, you would never be wanting for cards. Like, even if you don't play that much, if you're committing to only one class, I'm sure you could keep up with it, but there's too many temptations to break free from that and do other classes and gimmicks and stuff that I obviously ruin my collection. So I'm going to do one life for each of these. The twist mod I'm only doing as a novelty because... whatever, I'm not really able to play the mechanic fully here, but there are some anti-spell things in here still. So it's certainly not suited for Twist. In fact, I've played probably more of Twist than anything else. Oh wow, we're getting Pyro Warrior, but I don't really associate it with Rogue as much as Warrior. This might be some other iteration, but I mean, it's the bare minimum that you can do because it's twist mode, so it won't be like over the top, right, with a lot of overpowered pirates. But maybe I'm wrong. It could be really good. But yeah, some of these are like Caverns of Time cards, so it wouldn't even matter. Like, these aren't really purely in a particular format, because like Patches is not an old school card. If this is meant to be like Mean Streets of Gadgetzan and this and that. Or what's weird is sometimes the cards will work differently than they do now. Like, you know, if you play in current Hearthstone, it'll be, oh, it's a nerfed version of the card. But if you play in like the legacy mode, like a wild or classic or this twist, the cards will actually sometimes have different effects in these modes than they do in the current game. Like, it's weird, right? There's like different versions of the same card at the same time, which can be very, very confusing. Okay, 3 mana sprint, very nice. Yeah, all your spells aren't going to do you any good, but it might not really matter if they're relying on that or not. This is a bit of a dead turn play where like, oh, it'll get buffed, but that's better to play once you already have stuff out there. Right, you can just do it now and it won't matter. Yes, you still have to trade. But no, that's what kind of power creep in game shows you, is sometimes minimalism is better. Like, less is more. Not saying you have to go back to the original state of the game, although they should have rotated Classic around, like I said, through not just stay in Classic, but rotate it every month to a new expansion. Kind of like what Twist is doing in a manner, but so basically I'm just dead, is what you're telling me. I like doing these little mini permadeath round robin things too. Like, I'm doing the Gimmick deck and I have a couple different versions of it or in different formats, and so each one could get like 1 life basically. Well, 1 life per episode, but then my episodes end up being so short, or I just end up winning so much that I never get around to having the chance to actually do that. Yeah, I sort of sometimes wish I had more dust, because now that could almost be a format. Like, try one version of a gimmick in each format. So like an anti-spell twist deck, an anti-spell wild deck, and then an anti-spell standard deck even. And right, try to make not necessarily even the best one that you can. That's what people sometimes misunderstand about my gimmicks too. I'm not trying to make the best deck with the gimmick in it or with the mechanic in it. I'm trying to make the most gimmick-filled deck possible. Like, I want to have as many cards that relate to it as possible. So it's not about, oh, make a viable meta deck, although at some point I sometimes have done that, or I should try to do that. But it's not that, oh, you just put it in there as window dressing. Like, oh, I can make a Legend Caliber Warlock deck with Renounced Darkness in there, but it doesn't mean I actually have to play it. I'll just put it in there and then make 29 cards meta best, you know, deck. So I'll just have one dummy card like that in there. But that's different than saying, I mean, this is just stupid. You might get something good here, but deal 3. Literally getting helped by AFK and I still can't do anything. So my point is that, yeah, I could make one for each. So like the best twist deck that incorporates the mechanic. But yeah, I want to have as many cards with that mechanic as possible. I want to really beat that mechanic like a dead horse, because that's the point of it. It's not to make the best deck. It's to make the most committed, full gimmick-based deck possible with respect to whatever it is that you're trying to build about. So like, oh, the evolved deck is Shaman. I don't want to just have a couple evolved things in there and then have a good deck around it. I want to have actually... Oh, man. I want to have, again, as many anti-spell cards as I can, or as many evolved cards as I can. And that's it. Like, that's the point of the deck. The gimmick is the point. There is no other... Usually there's not a win condition, for example. Right? It'll be some mid-range idea. Like, oh, look, I'm going to negate all your spells. That doesn't win me the game necessarily, but it creates a style of play that could hard counter you, or it could throw you off and give me an advantage, but it's not a guaranteed thing. I don't know how he's messed this up. Like, even... That one turn where they just AFK'd out for no reason, and now I have another Flame Strike. Oh, we're both using the Sargeras card back too, which is pretty sick. And at least this one you get pretty good visual representation. Or you start to get better visual representation based on how few cards you have left. Like, look how it becomes more clear, right? How you can see the center more, the fewer cards there are. Why should that even matter? Because it's like, the height of it should be the same. Okay, so the twist is officially over. I think I lost as that yesterday too, and I didn't get a chance to even 19 days, but yeah, whatever. I'm not going to play that again, probably ever, like until the next twist mode. And so now we have a few left to do. We have 2 decks left. Hopefully this goes on for a while because I wanted to make this more of a finale, a noteworthy finale. But we have these 2 left to do, and they might be pretty much the same. I don't even look at what the difference is, but I do want, you know what I kind of wanted, speaking of wasting gold on cosmetics. Or yeah, I'm going to get the Jaina Mage thing, and then I'm not even going to play as Mage. Is the Ungoro card back. Can you actually search card backs like this? You should be able to. Yeah, like I always said, this is like the wild legend card back because that looks like the color of the legend card back anyway, and the vines would represent wild, right? I always theorized that it would have made a great you know, art for one, even though it makes sense for Ungoro too. I'm almost level 60 as Mage. Like, I almost want to keep this one going. We could do it as like a filler thing, I guess, here and there, but for all intents and purposes, this should be the last committed episode. Then if I feel like doing it here and there, I want to kind of make a regular series out of this again. And of course, I want to keep an eye out, which is totally not the whole reason why I came back, out of paranoia that I might miss the Ner'zhul in the frozen armor if it does come out as a hero avatar that I wanted so badly. I you know, was totally keeping an eye out for that. But no, this guy's actually pretty good how he casts a spell, right? Like, kind of ironic that he's immune to spells, but he also casts a spell himself. But he could save himself from spells, but not others. The point being that you have wait, I didn't have this, did I? Well, my point is though, I have a situation where, yeah, this was like one of my favorite Gimmick decks I've ever done too. Not so much this exact one, and Lorthamar kind of ruins it in a way, but at the time, like around 2018 maybe, when the Death Knight heroes came out, right, with Frostlit Jaina and stuff, and I had all these anti-spell minions in there, like Sogoth and whichever ones were out then, which really wasn't even that many compared to all the ones that came out with Galakron, but I had 2 copies of each of those, and then I had Counterspell and all this kind of stuff, so it was a very primitive deck and not very good, but it was still interesting. I could do a 0-cost spell there. See, now you're not going to even be able to kill it because of its immunity. That's the funny thing, is sometimes you'll go against really good decks and I'll probably still end up losing to it, but it'll throw them off too because they're not used to seeing this. So it's one of those meta fallacy things, like in chess even, like, oh, you're playing this weird opening that I don't know, so even though they're better than you, they're not familiar with that, so they'll still get psyched out or they won't do so well. So that's the stupidest thing you could do, because yeah, do I even have to explain? Absolutely stupid. I'll just do that actually for the sake of... When one of your minions is attacked, I actually won't worry about it. I was going to try to be fancy and have 2 of those, but sure, I got lucky that it was a 3 damage AoE, but I'm just saying, like, why would you leave that around when it has the potential to cast spells on its own, right? Even if I didn't have a very good spell. Yeah, my schedule is kind of random now, like the categories that I'm doing. So between this and chess are 2 of my main ones. This is the card. This is the deck that I got to Legend with in Wild for the first and only time, just because I don't really try to do that very often. But Starship Peace. Oh yeah, this is the whole Exodar stupid mechanic. But no, I only did this one from like Diamond 3. Not this one, but that card was in there. from Diamond 3 to Legend, but from Bronze rank 10 to Diamond 3, what did I use? That one deck and one deck only, which was the Imp deck recipe, which is hilarious looking back on it. You can even, you know, I have that series uploaded fully to YouTube, so I did that so quickly and so smoothly and seemingly so easily for somebody who hadn't played the game in years, which shows you how it's such a means argument. Like, it has everything to do with the deck that you're using and 0% to do with you as the player. Like, any moron clown could do it. And then getting Legend rank 1, sure, that might take a little more, but it seems like mainly it would just take a lot of time, which I'm not diminishing that has value, but it's so basically I'm screwed. You could maybe confuse them with tricks a little bit. They might hesitate. Their health values are pretty low too, so if they might actually just pass the turn. Right, the one that does 3 damage to everything. But clearly I got fleeced by a better deck, so we get one more shot. So this won't be much of a finale. I better get Jaina, though. That'll be the reward for the Mage avatar. But no, I might actually do this as like a placeholder gimmick deck at other times, as I'm doing arenas and other things, but mainly I'll try not to. Because every gimmick deck got its chance, and so I literally need 150 gold, and unfortunately I'm just not getting it because of the simple fact that, oh yeah, I can re-roll something. Like, I'm not using Nozdormu. I want there to totally be, again, like I always call it, the non-consensual Nozdormu, which sounds a little weird, but non-consensual Nozdormu would mean that you have it in your deck and they don't have it in their deck, but it still makes every turn 15 seconds for both of you. But it comes at some cost. Like, okay, it cuts my life points in half. Like, I'd still be willing to use it just for the fun and the gimmickry of doing that. I would want to random legendary. Okay, so we got to get to 21. Oh, god damn it. Win 5 games, play 5 games. Okay, but that's not what we have here. So, yeah, like, I'm really gonna do that. Starship pieces. Okay, we have 17 packs. We only have one more deck to play as, so I could be screwed. Like, this is a permanent challenge moment. Like, I have to get Jaina, or I should have to delete my account, and I have to do it within this one deck. So I have to get to rank 21 or whatever on the reward track, which again, I've never been to rank 100 on there, which is surprising, but I just haven't played that much since that mechanic came out, I guess. Even when I played long enough to get to Legend, it still wasn't enough to get to rank 100. But no, think about it just like you're trying to revel in the mechanic, right? You like the mechanic so much, which I do love Elusive, which I love it so much that I always call it Evasive mistakenly. Like, this Evasive Feywing could have been a good title for it too. Maybe that's why they didn't call it that, because then it overlaps with too many cards that have that in their name, but I guess it kind of is a self-tell. Blizzard named this Evasive Chimera to represent the fact, right, Evasive Feywing. Oh, why is it called Evasive Feywing? Because it can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. Oh, so what should we make the key word that refers to the same thing? Oh, we shouldn't make it evasive, we should make it elusive. Like, what do you mean, dude? You, before that keyword existed, this is what you're calling it. This card has no other effect, right? No other effect except for can't be targeted by spells or hero powers, and the name that they decide to give it is evasive. So describing that can't be targeted by spells or hero powers means evasive to them. They chose the word. So why would it be elusive then? Why isn't it Elusive Feywing then? Like, it makes no sense. By their own standard and metric, like, they chose that. This thing looks so fucking sick. I like how you can buy a lot of the card backs with gold and stuff, but I never knew that for a very long time. Like, I've known it for a while now, but a couple years back I had discovered that, I guess, and I had just never looked through the card backs because I just assumed, like, oh, it's just showing you all the ones you don't have, but it's not like you can craft them with dust the way that you can cards, so why would you care? But I never knew that, oh, if you right click you can just buy it with gold. That's kind of a buried mechanic a little bit. They're not super clear about that. Make a copy of it. I just want to have some little minor win streak here, if only just to get Jaina. And yeah, I'm actually bronze rank 10, so even if I did play this, I mostly seem to have played the twist one. I guess I didn't win any games or get anywhere with it. This finale is gonna go on forever. Like I've said it 3 or 4 days. That one thing I don't like is when the card back like clips off the side of the card though. That's a little immersion breaking. Bro thinks he's me using Renounced Darkness when I tried to do that to spice it up. Okay, this is good. Anything you attack is going to be pretty valuable as well, and the reason why is because I'll get another one. Especially if you get like duplicate, then you'll get 2 more Lothebs. But the key to winning with this is Lorthamar, which again, if I get it next turn and I get to play it, I have a chance. If I don't, I pretty much lose the game. It's kind of like how the Death Knight hero cards were at the beginning in 2018 range, like Knights of the Frozen Throne. If whoever got their Death Knight hero first won the game, like whoever just got it in their hand or started with it wins the game, or whoever gets to play it first, or whoever plays it on curve. You could both be playing very well and doing everything perfectly and have an equal position, but oh, they drew their Frostlit Jaina before I drew mine and they get to play it, so now I lose because of that. Like it could be that simple because they were such high impact cards that, you know, they would determine the outcome of the game single-handedly. On one hand, I like them. They're cool. They had a good sense of personality. Everything. Yeah, really, that's what makes you choose that. A win streak bonus, or it's not even a win streak bonus. It's just a pity bonus. Like literally, you're at bronze rank 10. I couldn't have won 2 games in a row because I had 0 stars. So what do you mean? See, isn't this more fun than chess at least? Which I think I'll try to do chess after this with my real physical board that I've been using. It's like a digital board that you can move on. Metamorphosis Illidan. These ones sometimes just don't look very interesting with the expressions. He looks sort of bland. And he's clipping out of the top of it. But no, what you really want is Orthamar, and I don't think you're understanding the importance of it because it's just not giving it to me. Like, come on, the game's got to throw me a bone and give me a chance. I love that one cutscene, even though I stopped following the lore. Right, obviously I stopped playing Rat, so I don't even know a lot of things that happen, but where he's like saying, I am my scars and all of that, like, you know, I forget the whole scenario, but then he kills one of the Naru, basically. And that's like when they open the rift to Argus, or I don't know what the hell it is. I've just seen that cutscene before. I've seen a lot of them, actually. Like Old Soldier and stuff with Sarfang. There's so many good, you know, animations and story moments and stuff like that. But imagine actually playing WoW, modern retail WoW, unironically in 2025. I was going to say 2024, but it's probably still pretty good, but, you know. That's why there's a reason why people like classical and different things like that so much. It's not just, oh, nostalgia, right? There is something to it where, yeah, maybe you could make like a mana burn type of deck, but not too many. I don't think there's too many cards that would really elicit that, right? It's a pretty rare mechanic. Or just make some card that lets you cycle the same spell over and over, and then you could choose a spell like that to do with it. To just do it every turn and somehow make an infinite number of copies of it. Now this makes it feel like a total waste because you're gonna die no matter what. What a toxic player. Yeah, this category never ceases to amaze me how well it does on Twitch. Like, this is insane. Despite the fact of how power creeped and bloated out the game is and how long it's been out, it still does so incredibly well. Better than Magic the Gathering, and I don't mean just Arena, but literally every form of Magic combined into one category still doesn't do as well as this. Right, like I'm even deferring to it, that as much as I love this game, I always said Magic is, or I mean, since I played Magic, and when did I start? The end of 2022. I would even acknowledge it's better in some ways, and overall probably, maybe not just in Arena form, but just overall, it probably is better, but, you know, it is what it is. Like, it's not as popular as I would thought, or you can't judge it just by Twitch, obviously, but so for curve's sake, you almost want to do that, but also the complete waste because this is just going to kill it. So see, that's a horrible turn because I can't do anything with it. Right, if I had summoned something, it's just a waste. The Stone Drake is okay, but what I need is... That gets really good if you soup it up with the Lorthamar.
Just be my best song yet.
Because the amount of healing you get is going to be amazing. This is like one of the newest elusive minions, if I'm not mistaken. It might be actually the newest. I don't know if there was one from this expansion. Okay, that's beautiful, but unfortunately we won't be able to use it with this. But whatever, we just have to keep top decking minions, which the majority of things in this deck are minions anyway. The only spells we really have are to counter other spells. So how many of these avatar ones do I even have? Like the 3D models. I have the Ranger Sylvanas, I have the Clownface Arthas, I have the Thirst Trap Nerzol. I have all these nicknames for them. The Shaman, obviously Thirst Trap Nerzol, and then I have maybe Cthulhu. It counts as one, obviously the Eyeball. That one is actually pretty sick. Now this I badly want to do because now again you can get off to the races, and if you just draw into some elusive minions now, you can really take over the game. And this would be my best chance of winning because you get to see the value sort of exemplified by this in a way that you really can't do any other way. Like the amount of effort I'd have to go to do that with any other deck would be insane. Like, you know, I'll summon a taunt and then I'll give it this, and so you're really trying to complement minions that you otherwise couldn't target in any way that you can. There's a temptation to just play it, but maybe it's not the right move, because the right move is probably to... They're not putting a ton of pressure on the board, to be honest with you, so I'm fine with that. But you have a 10 mana, or I'm sorry, a 6 mana 10/6 with Rush Divine Shield at your disposal now anytime that you want, which this is one of the weaker values you could get, even though the 10 is pretty good. A 6 mana 10/6 isn't that big of a deal. It's more so the health values that you really want to stretch out. Because again, you might think, oh, but they could just use removal, like if it was a normal card. Health doesn't matter, right? But in this case, it does matter because you have, it can be very hard for them to target it, especially maybe a Demon Hunter. I should almost do, I should have, fuck me. I should have done that shit first. I mean, it'll be useful later too, but I'm probably the only dude who's ever played Nerubian Unraveler, just period. I don't think it was ever considered a good card, even at the time when it came out. And certainly I probably played it the most of anybody ever. So this guy's playing at such a pace that makes it very vulnerable to me. So let's just do this. We set up for something strong next turn, then we can do the secret. We can kill whatever he summons probably with that. The problem with that is, you know, he's going to play a spell anyway. So even if it was like a 5 mana spell, he might not have cared, assuming it cleared the board. But that was obviously pretty shitty. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. And now we can even do that. So now I'd love to see you deal with this board, which unfortunately in this day and age, it can be pretty easy to deal with the board still. There'll be some kind of other crazy shit you can do. But no, not only can you not target it with spells, not only can you probably not kill it, but even if you try to kill it, you still would just give me another copy of it, at least if you attack into it, which... what is that one card they have? Well, they're going to somehow still do it. Oh. You still get it, though. You still get it. Look how hard you make it for them. Look at how you make it impossible to deal with. And yeah, your hero attacks it too, but I guess in that case... I don't really even want to do that. I want to save that for like some... I guess there's not much to save it for, but... I hate the amount of easy removal that people have these days, though, where it's minion effects to do it, or some board clear. Like, there's too many of those. That was a good advantage of it then. Like, Lorthamar kind of makes up for that, which didn't exist at the time. Like, I'm talking 2018, but also... So I didn't get the buffs, but then they also didn't have as much removal, so it kind of evened itself out, and it wasn't necessarily all that good, but you might just win, though. Like, how am I winning these games, dude? This is so bad, but if you get Lorthamar, you have a chance. And every minion twice, improve your relics. Okay. Wait, how? You still can't do it. What are you going to attack into it with your face? Oh, look at that, dude. Look at that. The final counterspell to cuck you. I've got that Yugi playing the Golden Sarcophagus Riz against the Pharaoh, where like he plays Monster Reborn at the end, and then he literally, I'm doing this for you, Frostlet, Jaina, Elsa role player. If I get any of these done, I should be pretty close to getting enough gold for this, which seems like a total waste, but I want it for some reason. Even when I'm not playing a Yu-Gi-Oh game, I'm always role-playing as that. Somehow, like, it just comes to mind. Like, all the moments from there, they have, like, every archetypal card game moment possible. And imagine watching a show based on a card game that's actually about the card game that it's based on. Like, not inspired by it, not like Pokemon, but literally it is about the card game itself. Even like while playing chess, I was kind of channeling that a little bit. Okay, Lorthamar, that means it could be a win. I could just tell you by turn 7, if I don't draw Lorthamar, I have no chance of winning. 0% chance. Even if I do get it, I probably have a pretty low chance, but you know, that's the only win condition you're going to possibly have in your whole life. And it's unfortunate because it's such a broad card that has nothing to do with this deck, really. Right? Like, it'd be good in so many things, but it makes sense because you're buffing minions that otherwise are not very easy to buff. Right, the same way that the AoE buff Druid deck, I was doing the same anti-spell vibe to it, but again, Lorthamar trivializes that too, so it's like I'm getting mad about power creep for my own benefit. Like, oh, this makes this gimmick completely useless and is no fun, because what a waste of a fucking card. Like, oh, this power creeped out card is too powerful, so now it's ruining my own gimmick and all the work that I had to put in to get it, that made it fun and had to earn it. Now it does all the work for me, so it's just stupid. But even though it's to my benefit, I still don't necessarily like it, which shows you the sense of honor that I have. Maybe that'll be a mechanic they add someday where you can have 2 of the same secret. You can kind of stack them up. Where they won't trigger at the same time. So like, you'll counter a spell, but then I can counter another spell. That might get confusing, but there's so many secrets already that like you can't really guess anymore. Right, like, oh, I'm gonna guess it's one of any of the many 20,000 secrets that you have in the history of the game. Like, how would you know? Maybe based on the format, it might limit it a little bit. Like, in standard, you can only use X number of them, but so yeah, we do have Lorthamar. If I can just stay in control of the board a little bit and just survive, I'm fine. Just comfortable enough to play it on curve, and then that's the best chance you're gonna have, and you get to see all these souped out values that are pretty fun. I mean, even Lothab and Nerubian Unraveler, I'm not complaining about a 5-mana 10/10. What is this, Magic the Gathering with the Gigantosaurus, which is not actually what its name is. It's like Giganotosaurus. Like, I always call it Gigantosaurus just because it sounds more natural, but that was a card that really blew my mind. The equivalent to the 4-mana 7/7 here. 5-mana 10/10 with no downside, not even the overload. Just the fact that you have to use a lot of green land, which I do exclusively anyway. Alright, so we got 2 good turns left to go, and then we can see what happens. I would love it if somebody complained about this too, like, oh, how dare you use all these gimmick things. Like, what do you mean, dude? Like, it's so bad. Like, oh, you're using all this anti-spell stuff. That's so annoying. That's so troll. I can't do anything about it. Like, bro, this is the shittiest deck that you've ever seen in your life. I'm playing around something if you can target in the middle and affect both, like, whatever the rogues use or something like that. I forget what that's even called. Betrayal. Right, because as long as you have Elusive in the middle, you wouldn't be able to do it. Very effectively, anyway. Or yeah, you could do duplicate on Lorthamar and play him triple. One time I think I played him like 4 times. Like, why is he leaving? Oh, I'm BMing him with the worst deck that you've ever seen in the history of existence. Although I do love the interaction nonetheless of getting all these crazy values. Is that going to be enough to get Jaina? I'd like to play with Jaina, actually, if I could. Not the first time I've said that. Oh, shit, we got it. We actually got it. 1,000 gold down the fucking drain like a clown that I am. They kind of hide this stuff away. Like, the shop is so confusing and convoluted now. I hate it. Jaina, heroes.
Greetings from Crystal Song.
You could play it off as like, oh, it's just her Halloween costume or something. Like, it's not really. This looks so elegant, actually. I love it. But she still has that crazy Theramore bombed out hair. Yeah, let's just use that right now since I obviously am still playing as Mage. So this might be our only chance to actually see it.
I have all the magic you'll ever need.
Whether she's singing to her animal friends or icing out her enemies, this fairy always brings the magic. Obtained by purchasing the Winter Veil Chill Bundle or just buying it like I just did now.
I have all the magic you'll ever need.
No, I really like that how that one looks actually.
I have all the magic you'll ever need.
Okay, this will be the last chance that we get. Where I always like try to ease into trying the emotes and then I never end up doing them. Like, I don't want to just spam them right away. I want to do it in a way that's actually organic, but then I forget about doing it. Like, I did that with the Sylvanas Ranger one. Like, oh, I don't want to speak out of turn and just spam it at some inappropriate time. And then I play with it for like a whole month and then I forget to even use some of them.
Tremble before the might of the elves.
Careful, the cold is catching.
Or yeah, like bow to your queen, the ultimate alpha dom line from the Frost Lich Jaina, which is like some sort of fanfic almost
Greetings
character.
from Crystal Song.
Hello, Wanderer.
Which is where they moved fucking Dalaran to, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm misremembering, but that's like where Dalaran is in Northrend. Which I don't really remember much about that zone aside from just that. Like, I don't think I did a whole lot there. You just go there just for Dalaran. Which that was kind of a plot contrivance retcon BS moment where Archimonde destroys the city and then, oh, it just magically reappear. It would have made more sense if they just rebuild it. Like, just say you rebuilt it over that much time, right? Rather than, oh, conveniently we happen to do something. We happen to move it, or I guess they only maybe save part of it, but it's just too convenient. Like, we literally see him destroying it, right? Some of the towers fall and everything. Alright, so we don't have Lorthamar. That's my main concern here. Some of these decks are pretty simple to play. I mean, I'm not going to claim like they're super advanced, but there might be some nuances you'll see with certain matchups, but which again, it's so broad, especially in Wild, you're going to have no idea what you're up against. Like, this is not a very good modern mechanic at all. Right, I forget when that came out, but it's super shitty, super old. You have your minions +2 attack. Like, really, bro?
Well played.
Oh, see, now that's an appropriate chant.
And all my woodland
She's really embracing the Disney princess vibe. I like it. See, that's why it's excusable, even though it seems silly. Well, it is still stupid. Like, when in the lore did she ever do anything like that, right? Like, it's got to be fully lore accurate characters. I kind of don't want to use the coin, but I also want to. I mean, I'm just holding out for Lorthamar, and I already missed the chance. I would have had to do a turn 6 coin outplay, right, to have the best chance of winning. And I would have loved getting it before that.
Well played.
Now that sparkles.
You better watch your step in this.
So why do you have that first quest, though? That's such a shitty card. First of all, summoning 20 minions is not light work. But let's see. We can just do this. Try to settle on. Well, actually, let's see what it's going to be. Deal 3 damage, which that absorbs, and then try it again. Do this. It could be better version of snipe.
You fight like a storm pike.
Thanks from me and all my woodland friends.
Yeah, I like when some of these come up on the shop alone, that they used to be, oh, buy Voyage to the Sunken City for $79.99, the, you know, pre-order pack, right? And then you get N'Zoth. But I didn't want to do that, obviously. I don't typically buy microtransactions at all. And then I, you know, I wanted N'Zoth so badly, though, over the years, and then finally they released it by itself. So you can do this here. And then may as well just chip into that a little bit. You have a pretty good board position here. Maybe suboptimal placement, like what I was explaining before. Which every class has a card like that now. But see, that wouldn't have mattered. That just did it to everything.
Now that sparkles.
How kind of you.
Like, what the fuck is that, dude? I guess I could cumulatively kill it next turn. So now I would have a chance, but my health value is already a bit too low. This is like we're playing for our lives here, and our privilege to get to show off this new avatar that I got, because if I lose this, that's it. I'm done with this deck for now. I'll keep it as a backup, but mainly I should start trying these other gimmicks out, even if I can't fully flush them out. Like, I want to try kil'jaeden as probably the Demon Hunter. Not that you have to use, it's a neutral card, but
Your feeble magic amuses me.
not really sure how I feel about this. Like, all they'd have to do is get through that, but you get to choose which one or not. Oh shit. Oh yeah, I'm sort of spamming the emotes a little bit. I need like you could just keep using the same one over and over. That's what's nasty about it. You literally got the vibe of the Divine Serpent, yeah, going on.
Fight like a storm pike.
So Jaina falls. We don't get to see that again. I guess I'll keep my word. So that was a suitable finale. At least we get this elegant Angel Wings Disney Princess vibe. We almost had gotten a level 60 with the Mage too, which is kind of cool. Yeah, we could try out the arena and stuff like that. Recent opponent wants to be your friend. Okay, fine. I almost want to do more, but I mean, that was the justification for using that deck, right? The fact that each deck gets one life, so I don't want to overdo it, especially when I've dragged this out as it is. Yeah, we would have the arena to do. Maybe I should do it now. With some druid arena. I just haven't enjoyed arenas in a long time. Like, they've always been sort of, maybe because, oh, you're not familiar with the modern cards, but there's something else about it. Like, it takes a bloated form. Like, it's not as straightforward as it used to be. You might think, oh, that means it's too complicated, I'm too dumb, but you want arena to feel like, if you feel like you're winning, you should win. It shouldn't be like, oh, but they have this up their sleeve. It's sort of to feel like constructed that way. Like, I think I'd be winning in 100 games, and then half of them, they would come back or have some crazy shit up their sleeve, and just, you get to show off the Cthulhu eyeball there. Of course, if I do a mage as an arena as a mage, I would get to show that off too. That was a little bit anticlimactic, but I got what I was gunning for at least with Jaina, and so I should do something else, but I don't know what I really feel like. Maybe that should be enough of a finale, and then I should just play chess.